This podcast is a proud member of the UUOP network.
This is episode 669 of the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast for July 1st, 2025. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another amazing show. And this one is amazing. It's super, some might say. We're still talking Epic Universe. We're going over more lands today. I'm not doing it alone. I'm here with Michelle, Tracy, and Lee. And we can finally talk. Also, this is all spoiler-filled. We said this on the last episode, but there are spoilers. So if you don't want them, just let this play with the volume down so we still get the hit in Apple Podcast or wherever you hear your podcast at.
Oh my God, I've taught Chris well.
So we already covered Celestial. We already covered Dark Universe. Let's jump into what some say is their favorite land and the largest land in that park so far, Isle of Berk, How to Train Your Dragon.
I think it is. I think it is, and it definitely feels like the most complete land in the park, right? World.
Thank you. That's
Yes.
what my hand was up. World.
The most
Universe.
complete world in the park, without a doubt.
Yes, I agree.
Can we talk about
Gorgeous.
that reveal?
Holy crap.
Holy moly.
It's probably the most beautiful of all the reveals.
100%.
Yeah. You literally feel like you've just been transported, like, teleported.
Because you can see that whole world. Once you step past that stone with the inscription on it and walk in, that view, you can see the whole world in front of you, and it looks like Berk.
Mm-hmm.
That land feels the least like a theme park land.
It really does.
It is
It's
so grand.
Yeah.
The walkways are huge. I love it. I love it so much because they do play into that just grandiosness of it, where you are on an island, right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the whole vibe.
Yep.
And they hit it so well on the money there.
It's amazing.
I know.
Look, Audrey, when we went in on opening day, Audrey, bless her, like she was ugly crying.
Yeah.
You'd think someone had just stolen a teddy bear.
It was.
Yeah,
It was so sweet.
she's obsessed with Toothless and just this whole world. And she's probably the dragon expert, and she walked in and she was like, this I belong here. Like this is my home now. Bye, you can leave. I'm living here.
Did she adopt a dragon?
They were out.
What?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Where was that supposed to be at?
It's in one of the stores over by the show.
Okay.
You go do a little dragon adoption ceremony and you name it.
Okay.
So it's between the
Yeah,
show
they were
and
out
the
of
Toothless meet
eggs.
and greet. That's sad. We'll have to go back.
And
Yeah,
it's so
there you go.
it's so kinetic. Like even though you walk in and there's that big reveal and there's like the huge lagoon there. On one hand, it's very serene, but then on the other, like after you get over that first initial like shock, and you start realizing all of the movement that is going on, it's like
It's Viking
this
chaos.
land is alive.
It
like
really
it's
is.
on its own without the humans. It's alive.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Little things like there's just like fenced off areas of sleeping dragons that are moving,
Yeah.
and they're not there to do anything, just to be part of the decoration, and they're moving.
So
It's-
this land
yeah.
like had me thinking and kind of going to your point, Tracy.
I think I
There
know
are
what you're going to say.
so many animatronics
Yeah,
in this land that are not part of any rides whatsoever, and they're there just to like a lot. And I'm trying to think of other lands and areas that would have something like that.
See, Super Nintendo World does, but I think this goes back to what you talked about last week, Chris, that Dark Mod doesn't have any of that. And it does, if there's no characters out, it does feel very... Stagnant's not the word I want to use, but there's no energy in there.
no, the only moving parts really is the blade,
Yeah.
the windmill blade.
But that's not that environment. This
Yes.
is supposed to be that.
Yes, it's a bustling town.
And they didn't have to, but because they did, It made such a big difference.
Really?
Let's go talk about meet and greets, right?
Oh my God.
You mentioned Toothless. So I saw the pictures.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
What do we think?
That was the longest wait of everything in the park for all 3 days.
Was.
And I wasn't even that bothered about it. Oh my God.
It was magical.
How real does it feel?
Very.
We did it. We did it, by the way.
I forgot
dragons are real 100% now.
I've been telling Lee.
I forgot for a very brief moment. Like, I caught myself. I'm like, this isn't a real dragon, is it? It's an animate. Like, personality,
emotion,
everything.
You feel like you are being listened to when you speak, and the way he looks at you, it's just...
Well, it's like our meet and greet. I made a right of myself. Because
never.
Hiccup was like, right, everyone turn round. And I turned round and faced away from Toothless. And he's like, no, never turn your back on a dragon. And everyone started laughing. So did Toothless.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, how is it that an animatronic can make an experience feel like it was just only you that experienced that, when he literally just had meet and greets with 1,000 other people before you? But it feels like it was only like his expressions and his reactions were only to you. Right? Does that make sense?
It absolutely does.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's like it's literally like a face character that you're having an interaction with, that it could be a unique experience.
Yeah.
Even that aside, like with Toothless, I don't know, did you guys have Hiccup?
Yes.
On your...
Yes, we did.
Yes.
And he was great.
He really was.
We didn't have Hiccup.
Really?
Right? And you would think, like, we had a...
Dan.
You had the Viking.
We had a Viking, which
Yes.
I haven't seen 2 or 3 yet, so I don't know if he's like a actual face character or not. But let me tell you something. Was not disappointed whatsoever.
Is he the one that's like scared of him? He's like, oh, scared of the dragon. It's like, can you help me?
No. He's like I think he was like a redhead, like tall, big Viking.
Okay.
And he was just like this jolly, like he saw David had a Viking hat on, and he looked at he saw my beard. He's like, oh, we have fellow Vikings here. And
awesome.
Just energetic. You're at a pub. You're just having a great time. He's like, yeah, we got, dragons, all that stuff. I had the best time. And he was such a great character. And like we talked about, on the last episode, it wasn't a weird, so you have no,
it's not awkward.
You have an animatronic, Toothless, who doesn't speak. It only has visuals in the face.
Yeah.
So maybe that would be weird if you just walked up to just that, because what are you going to do? Oh, hi, I'll pet you, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Those side characters, or the actual people make that experience. I think it's 50% of that experience in itself, because they're the ones that are guiding you through that interaction.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Exactly. Like you said,
where
last week, it's not us having to, try to figure this out. No.
They curating that experience.
And he's even doing and I'm sure Hiccup did it as well, where, yes, Toothless doesn't talk. Now the facial expressions that he does speaks a bit, but that side character is also kind of speaking for the Toothless animatronic with how his emotions are. Oh, he really does like you. Oh, that.
Yeah.
I thought it was
amazing.
Great.
It really was.
Hiccup was spot on.
He really was.
Yes.
Down to the inflection, I don't even know. I couldn't replicate it, but it's spot on. And when Audrey, of course, walked up to meet him, she was the first one, because, we all know why. So she just immediately started crying, ugly crying. And Toothless read the room, and whereas the others, he needed to kind of give us permission to touch him or whatever. She walked up and started sobbing, and Toothless was like, come here, you're my new best friend.
Wow.
I love you. He put his head down and kind of invited her over to snuggle. And the whole time he was almost purring for her. And even though there was a whole group of us around him the whole time, and he met us too, but he obviously was favoring Audrey the whole time. Just making her experience perfect. It was so amazing.
Amazing.
So amazing.
Amazing. Like you say, Chris, and you're not even a meet and greet guy. So for you to say that it was phenomenal.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. We spoke about, again, referencing last week's episode, we spoke about all the amazing meet and greet characters over there. Isle of Berk, I think it is, I don't want to say the second best. It's up there because you have the Toothless meet and greet.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys do, I'm terrible with names.
We never got to see Gobber. No, we never saw Gobber. We never saw Rough Nut and Tough Nut.
We saw Rough Nut
We
and
saw
Tough
all
Nut
of
wandering
them.
around.
This is what I'm referencing to.
Yeah.
Rough Nut and Tough Nut
Tough Nut.
They are funny.
have to be one of the greatest theme park duos or meet and greets or whatever. They weren't even together when we saw them. We saw one at a time randomly.
Oh,
Nice.
wow.
Yeah.
It's the end of the night, and we're like going to like leave Isle of Berk to try to make the Darkmoor. And our group is kind of spread out, and we're just trying to like power walk. And we're like, hey, let's go, blah, blah, whatever. And I hear some lady yelling at us, like, yeah, come on, we got to go, let's go. And she's yelling at us, I'm like, who the hell's talking to us? I turn around, and it's the character going back to their thing. And she's just talking to us like, yeah, we got to go. And I'm like, are you going to join us? She goes, sure, why not? And just walked with us for like
Yeah.
2 minutes, and it just stayed in character, and just amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
They're so good.
Yeah.
And they're like, the fact that these characters, other than Toothless, they're on their own. Like they're not being escorted
No.
like you see in a lot of
No.
other parks.
What?
They just kind of pop up randomly out of nowhere and do their thing. So Audrey and I had our monster makeup on the first time we were interacting with Rough Nut and Tough Nut, and they came up to us and immediately were like, they were just like walking by and they were like, ah, like screamed, like full force screamed in our faces. And they were like trying to protect each other. And I don't know which one's which. I'm
No,
sorry.
me
But
either.
the guy was like, don't talk to them. Don't you see that he didn't, what's the name of the evil people? And Audrey would know this, but the bad people in that world. Anyway, it was so perfect. And then in the same makeup, we ran into Gobber, and Audrey's makeup was the skeleton, like where the bottom half of her face was a skeleton. And so Gobber, out of a whole crowd of people, we were just minding our business watching. He like moves everybody, and he was like, you, and he points to Audrey.
Brilliant.
Now that, I can't do the accent, but that is a Viking. That is terrifying. And he pulled her over and like made her interact with him, and it was so good.
Rough Nut's the girl.
Okay.
Yeah. See, when we've seen them wandered around, there was one time and they walked past and they were ignoring everybody. All the guests are ignoring, and they were just bickering with each other and shoving each other, and then Tough Nut's trying to get Rough Nut in a headlock.
Brilliant.
And it's just like sibling rivalry. And
It's so good.
I love that because that was just street theatre.
Yes.
And it felt like they were not aware that anybody else is around. Obviously they are because they're playing the roles, but it was just perfection.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys. Like the way I feel, again, not being, used to not be, maybe I am now, not being a meet and greet person, right? The people who they have brought on to do all these characters inside of Epic Universe have been just so eccentric, so much life in them. And it's not a knock on like face characters when you see them around in the other parks. But it's more of a calm experience, like, oh, hey, yeah, I'm Cyclops and blah, blah, blah. Whereas when you go here, you get your Igor, you get your Rough Nut and Tough Nut. It's this just huge experience.
Yes.
And I feel like they're so unique. It's not just...
It's organic. It's an
very
organic
organic.
experience.
There we go.
Yeah.
It's just organic. It's not like, I'm Rough Nut, I'm Tough Nut, here, take a picture.
Yeah.
It's this conversation that they come up with. They're so quick-witted.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Because it makes it feel like a real place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel like I'm in their world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not like all of a sudden they just appeared and they're like entertaining me. No, like this is their world.
Yeah.
And they're just living in it. Like they're just doing their daily thing and
Yep.
we're visiting.
I can tell you that Universal looked at what Disney promised for Galaxy's Edge and then completely reneged on it all and went, no, we're going to do that, and it's going to be a huge part of what we're doing. And I hope that it is that moving forward. I worry what it's going to be like when that park gets up to full capacity. But right now, if you're not going to Epic in the next 6 months, get down there, because I do worry that these experiences will go away.
Yeah, it concerns
because
me.
it's awesome. I mean, did you guys see the baby dragons?
Oh.
No.
Oh my God, Chris, you need to see.
Are you talking about like the
Boston Dynamics?
The Boston
Yes.
No, man, I wanted to see
So
it
we
so bad.
stumbled across them, and I knew what it was because I've seen videos on Instagram, and Tracy had no idea. And I'm like, stand there, your mind is about to be blown.
Yeah.
Amazing. She played the girl who was with I think it was Rough Runner. They were playing Toothless Says. So it was like Toothless Says, raise your right paw, and it was amazing.
So I've seen videos, but
mind blown.
Not in person. I want to see it so bad. It's one of those few experiences that we didn't get to do, even though we tried looking for it.
Just they have leveraged everything. Like I've said, everything that they've learned over 35 years of having theme parks, they have leveraged and plussed and looked at new technology and pumped everything into Epic Universe, and it shows. It really does. Yeah. That park is. You've heard all the reviews, like people, it's an epic fail and blah blah, and all this other bull out there. Do you know what?
I'm so fed up with that.
It is an amazing park. Yes, I'm sure there's days when things go down and the lines are crappy, but the problem is a lot of people go expecting, or not expect. It's like rides. The rides are the focus, right? And I'm sorry, but that park is about more. We've just spent 15 minutes talking about Isle of Berk, and we have not yet mentioned a ride.
I was going to say that. Yeah,
right?
Yep.
So we haven't mentioned food, haven't mentioned ride, haven't mentioned shows, nothing.
Yep. So that just tells you that if you're going to this park focused entirely on rides, then you're completely missing the point.
A point that I want to bring up that again is not ride, show, or food is all the furniture in that land, in that world, is solid wood.
No,
benches.
It's not just that world. I found that in every portal.
Dark Universe.
Yes.
Each have their own benches carved to their thing.
Yes.
Like heavy, not crappy chairs.
But this, because it was wood and it wasn't rough. It was like sanded down and everything. But it just felt like the Vikings had built this. It was solid. And I mean, those chairs were really heavy. You know,
all the benches in Isle of Berk were
all themed,
carved by chainsaws.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's little things like, I'm always saying look up, but also look down, because the manhole covers in every world are all designed for each world. The garbage pins, I don't know. Where you put your rubbish,
the
anyway,
trash
people.
Cans
the
for
trash
you
cans.
Americans.
That's what I'm trying to come up with. They all like look like the carved out of stone, and I think I saw 3 or 4 different designs on the trash cans, and it's just
it's beautiful.
Oh, it really is.
It really has taken theme parks to the next level. I don't care what other people are saying.
Like you said, all the years, like where we are now with theme parks, right? With how much attention is on whether it be Disney, Universal, because those are your top players right there. But everybody salivates for any little thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, look, this thing is dripping water now that it wasn't working many years ago.
Yeah.
Let's do an article about that. So they realize that and they go, oh, now we can spend a lot of time doing a bunch of little minute things that may not have been anything to anybody before, but now people will actually appreciate it. And they are. Like you can go to that park multiple times and still find something new every single time.
That'll be the case for years.
Oh, yeah.
But Berk as well, like we're saying, things were organic. The look of it's organic. There's no plastic there. Like in Super Nintendo world, it looks like a plastic world because that's what it is.
It is,
but this is just, it's all natural. I know it's not, but it all looks like natural resources. There's stone, there's wood.
It looks like you carved it out, like you made a town out of wood.
Yeah.
It's,
or rock, or whatever it might be. Like Great Hall feels like it was tunneled out of that big great rock at the top of Berk.
Well, let's talk about the rides real fast, because we still have 2 more worlds to get to. So Hiccup's Wing Gliders. I want to start there.
That was our first ride.
I cried my whole first ride round it.
I got a feeling on that ride. I didn't like that.
Ooh.
That is an amazing ride.
It's so smooth. It is so smooth, and literally, like, it's just an enjoyable ride. Like, it's not ever too thrilling that, it takes your tummy away or anything like that. At least not me.
No.
And it just feels good. Like, it really does feel like you're like just flying. I don't know how better to describe it.
I agree.
And riding it at night was even better.
No.
So awesome.
And the cute little story. I love that.
Yes.
With a little bit of peril in the middle. And how many rides have we done before you actually realised that the wings were being attached?
Oh, like 4. I do
Not
have
until Rich pointed out.
Yeah, I do have one. My one complaint about Epic Universe is Hiccup's wing gliders.
Okay.
What? Complaint?
Yes. The restraints on that ride, when you go through that tunnel, they are not comfortable. It clicks down an extra lock. So that second half of that ride, every time I have ridden it, that lap bar clinches down like an extra couple of notches, and it is painful.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never experienced that. I had that experience on Stardust, like bad.
There's a lot of complaints about it.
Every time I have ridden it, I have come off that with that digging into my thighs.
You're not the only one. Everybody... I'm seeing it all over, like,
I know guys
social
said
media.
the same,
Yeah, but a lot of people are actually putting complaints in. It needs
was uncomfortable.
some sort of... Because
how does it click down? Are your arms resting on the thing?
Nope.
It's
the G-forces going through that tunnel.
Because there's a small launch in it as well. So because it moves your body as well, it could be your arms push it down, but
painful.
I've not seen anybody not complain about it.
I mean,
I got a belly on me, and Audrey and I are not small people, but I didn't feel that one.
It really digs into my thighs by that second half of that ride.
Strange.
It's painful.
A few people
on
said
our second or third day, I don't remember which one, we rode it 9 times in a row.
Jesus.
That's it?
Because a few people have said, well, when you get to that point, you need to pull up on it.
This guy said it, push it up.
Yeah, but other people as well. But you need to pull up on it. But you're not...
Thinking. It is. Anyway, but other than that, guys, I had this high up on my hype list when we did it for the Producers Club, and it's I won't say where it is, but it's definitely still up there.
I love it. That ride at nighttime is great. I told you, I hinted at it when I rode that for the first time. It was during Golden Hour, and I had tears coming out when the music hit.
Yeah.
It was the music, seeing a sunset, being in a brand new park. There were just emotions.
Yeah.
The cup runneth over.
Well, the last time we tried to ride that, we got to the front and got rained off. We had a good day that day, didn't we?
Not really, but...
Oh, no.
I like this one better than Hagrid's.
See, Hagrid's makes me sick, so I don't know.
I mean, they're both
Hagrid's is more thrilling. But I like this one. I enjoyed it more than I do Hagrid's.
I have to sit and think about that one because I do love sitting in the motorcycle position on that. It's a different experience, but this one does have you feeling like you are flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hagrid's is the only coaster at Universal that makes me slightly nauseous. And it's that backward section. It kills me because when we did it on the VIP tour for the media event, I came off it and I ended up not riding Velocicoaster because of Hagrid's first off.
See, Audrey, after riding it like back to back to back, we discovered that if you just let your body go completely limp on Hiccup's wing gliders, like just let it go completely limp and just go with like the natural motion of the coaster, it feels so good. Like it just, you feel so like just free. It's cool.
I did the same exact thing. You were so right.
Chris had 6 pints by then, but that's...
Yeah, mine wasn't...
It wasn't voluntary.
It's not often that Chris likes things to go limp, but on that ride, it's one of them.
Oh, wow. Keep it on track. What's the ride next door?
Dragon Racers Rally. I actually rode it. I rode Dragon Racers Rally. I didn't spin it. I just let it do its thing.
I just got it worked out and we stopped. 5 rotations. Come on, people.
To be
Give us
fair,
10.
It's a decent view. I like it.
It's a good view.
Yeah.
Great view. Even if you don't spin, it's a fun little ride to do. But again, really short.
Yeah.
Way too short for, especially if you're trying to, flip the thing, which I don't mean to brag.
Oh, off.
I did do 1 complete spin.
I didn't even get to sweat.
And I felt like I won the lottery.
So did it go 360 or does it go like upside down and then flip back?
Full 360. It went all the way around.
Was this on your last trip, Chris? Like the last trip,
last ride of riding that thing. It was towards the evening, and I literally did it, and I just didn't do anything else. I go, that's it. I'm just excited because I told the girl when we were getting loaded onto the ride. I asked the attendant working there. I go, let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen someone spin on this? Because it's not possible. She goes, yeah, you can do it. And she gave me a couple little hints to do. I tried exactly what she said, and that's how I got a spin in there.
Okay.
But they definitely are locking it in more than that other shell shock spinner ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if not, everybody be spinning on it. And hopefully one day they loosen it.
The attendant that put us on is a young girl. And she said before the general public were allowed in, she managed to spin it, I think she said 12 times.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But she said, well, you can't do that now.
I think they were worried about people puking.
Yeah.
I
I was told that it will not allow you to spin more than once.
I don't understand how.
At a time. There's some setting in it that won't let you do that.
I don't understand how they can set it so it'll only spin once. Because if you can spin it, you can spin it. I don't understand how it would only let you do it once.
Or maybe you have to rock it back the other way before you can spin it again.
Listen, that's all mechanically controlled by a computer. And that's a very easy thing to program in there, where obviously we know that those things can spin like crazy because we've seen videos of the same ride. So the same way they lock it in, right? They make it more difficult. The more resistance to make it spin is one thing. If you were to program it to say, if one full spin occurs, lock it further, then that's something you can program pretty easy.
All right.
But it just sucks that they're doing that resistance thing, because I would love to. Yeah.
Here's a question. Is there only one arm or two?
There's two.
I thought there was.
I don't remember seeing two.
I don't remember seeing two going either, but I couldn't remember whether there was
loading
or not.
one while they're...
But it's one of those that it's going to be like Doctor Doom, where it's not going to take a lot of people for that line to be long.
No.
But purely because of how long it takes to get people on. I think each one holds 12.
12,
So it's gonna have a high wait time a lot of the time, purely because of just how long it takes to load.
Yeah.
We didn't do fire drill.
No,
we nearly did on our last day. We were like, right, Tracy was like, I've got my Crocs, let's get on it, and it started down.
Then the storm came in.
So Michelle, did you do it or no?
No, we didn't.
So we did it once.
Okay.
And a little disappointed, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
I think it's a fantastic use of a small amount of space, and visually there's a bunch of stuff to look at in there. As far as an experience or a ride, it's just not. It's not that fun. It feels like a ride that's been there for 10 years without maintenance. And I hate to say this, but for example, there's targets that you can't hit because the water guns don't reach that far.
I have heard that.
Angle upward.
Yes.
And they're not like, they're not supposed to be hit. No. They are. They're supposed to be hit.
I have heard that.
Every water gun was shooting at different levels of distance, and mine would change throughout the ride. So it's something going on there.
Yeah.
You have no clue as to what to do. I read all the signs. It does nothing. I just shot whatever I could. And
that's what she said.
Yeah. It was... Honestly, it's not something I would go out of my way to do. It's again, I'd rather have that there than nothing in a small little, spot like that. But they can fix some of these things, right? They got to fix the jets. I think that's the most important thing, the water cannon jets. Once they do that, it'll probably be a little bit better. But was not all that much. Yeah.
I definitely want to do it just because it's literally the only attraction that we haven't done so far.
Because we were in there. Was that the first? Well, for the media, we were in Berk first, weren't we?
Yes.
Yeah. So obviously, nobody was really going on fire drill because we had the rest of the day and we didn't want to get wet. So we didn't have the option to go get changed anywhere. So,
did you guys do the show?
Absolutely,
yes, twice.
Yes.
Chris, did you see it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so good.
Oh my
Fabulous.
God.
So good.
Yeah.
I didn't so everyone's been like, oh, how much did Lee cry? I didn't cry as much as a lot of people expected. But Untrainable Dragon, every time. When Toothless comes out with Hiccup on his back, that just floods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
And the giant dragon that comes out on the stage, you're like, whoa, that's like, this is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That stage is unreal because there's a screen, but then there's physical things. But then there was time when I was like, that looks like a screen, and then it wasn't, and it's just, and it changes so seamlessly as well.
It really does.
Blew my mind.
I was a little concerned because we did, on the last trip, we did both shows. The circus one in Potter. Saw that one first. Blown away. Won't get into that yet.
Yeah.
Blown away. And then
get to the Wizarding World, please.
I know. I will get and then went and did this one, and I'm like, I hope it's good, because I just saw some really amazing, cool things, and it did not disappoint whatsoever. It still hits you right in the feels. It has tons of live performers, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
the music, the sights, you get Toothless, everything. It's so good. You have to do it.
The two very different shows. I'm sure we're going to talk about the Cirque Arcade later. The two very different shows. Very.
Last thing here is, and maybe we'll talk more about it on the bonus, food.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Mac and cheese cones that everybody talks about. Did you have them?
Yes, all three of them.
Yes. even if Marley from Fox News thought I said corn.
Yes. Yes, we have.
I thought it was good, but not like.
Which one did you get though, Michelle?
The PB&J.
That's the best one.
PB&J one.
That's the best one. By a mile.
Okay.
Get off the show.
But
I agree with Chris.
I don't know. What I was going to say is that, and Audrey thought the same thing, is like where I live, we eat mac and cheese all the time. And that was not like phenomenal mac and cheese.
I'll be honest, I don't actually like American mac and cheese.
I don't like mac and cheese.
But that I really liked.
But I loved it.
I found
it was good. Don't get me wrong, but I wasn't like, what in the world is everybody freaking out about?
Well, every time I've had mac and cheese over there, I've found it quite bland. But then that corn was really flavorful.
It needed it was everything. Yeah. It was like the parts itself weren't necessarily phenomenal, but the whole thing together. Oh my God!
How's the bread on it?
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's got like
soft and
everything, bagel seasoning.
Which is very messy.
Garlic bread, corn, and then the pulled pork. Like we thought it was just on the top, but it's not. It's all the way throughout it as well. Oh my God, it's amazing.
Definitely worth the price point, I think.
Yeah, we'll get it next time. We didn't get to do it this time.
We got 3 of them for free, and then that's how good they were that we went and paid.
We got 3 for free. I thought we got 2 and we bought 1.
No, because you got the plain mac and cheese one, and then we both got the PB&J. Oh yeah, so we had 5 altogether. Tracy got the mac and cheese. So during the media event, Tracy got the mac and cheese, like the plain mac and cheese. We went back for the blue carpet thing on the Wednesday night and got the PB&J one each, and then we went back on our 4th day and got the chicken one each.
Yeah, because you're in line waiting to pick them up, and I noticed there's a little food cart. Like
all that you just said right now made Michelle sound like a 10%er.
So I ducked out while Lee's getting these mac and cheese corns, and I come back with a plate of meatballs and vegetable mash. So we ate that while we were waiting for them.
Because that's when we bumped into, for those who know the unofficial pass holder group, Connie Norris, who runs that. We bumped into her, didn't we?
We did.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, phenomenal. We didn't eat in Mead Hall, but there was a couple next to us that got that Thorfest platter, the big thing with the ribs and the chicken legs and sausages and all. It looked amazing.
We did Mead Hall. It was the first time we did it. It was not great. The sausage was weirdly dry, like super dry.
Yeah, I remember you saying that because I was super disappointed.
Yeah, but then we went back this last trip, ate there. It was decent. It wasn't not mind blowing, but the ambiance there I think was more than the food in reference to like how much we enjoyed it.
Okay. Our friend Guy, we're with Guy and Dawn. He got the Stoics Ale, and I had a taste of that, and he was like, "I really don't like this, but because it's so expensive, I'm drinking it." And I have to agree, it wasn't good.
Did you get the mead?
I don't like mead, so I'm never going near that anywhere.
You need to try. Did you sample it at all?
Nope.
No.
Because it's a blackcurrant base, and you would not get me anywhere near that.
It's black what base?
Blackcurrant.
Is that the one they use at Universal? Because the mead that they serve there is not authentic mead. So if you don't like mead, you may like this.
No, but what Tracy's saying is it's a blackcurrant base.
Yeah, I don't like blackcurrant.
And she doesn't like blackcurrant. We'll talk about something else that we had in the Wizarding World later that's very much the same base, and she didn't like that either. But I did, spoilers.
Okay.
Michelle, what else did you eat?
Yeah. Well.
That's the only thing I had.
Okay.
In Isle of Berk.
Yeah, we didn't have anything.
Audrey was too busy chasing dragons and
she was chasing the dragon.
Buying all of the merchandise that was available for us to try too much food in there.
Fair enough. That's the thing, though. Like, we talked about it, like Tracy and I, like, there's tons we haven't done, but it's good because we've got stuff to do when we go back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes. Still have 2 more lands to talk about. So
yeah, what's next?
Let's jump to another one. But before we do that, we have an interview with Chef Marcus Colon from Meat Hall and Entertainment Director Kathrynn DiGenova. And then we'll be right back.
So we are here with Marcus Colon. I'm part of the chef team. I've been part of the chef team for over 23 years.
Awesome. So food has become a huge part of the Universal experience. How much was that in the back of your mind when creating the food for Isle of Berk?
You hit it on the head. Food is part of the experience. It's at equal levels with the rides, with the attractions, with the shows. I'm lucky to work with a lot of great partners from our research and development team, our creative team, our operations team. So really working to create this and watch the movies and really get in there and bring it to life has been fantastic.
So how much of this has been influenced by the movies? And did you get to go to Scandinavia to actually check it all out properly?
I'm still holding out to go to Scandinavia, hopefully. But it's not only influenced by the movies, Viking culture, Nordic culture, like little fun plays on stuff like that. Like we have Goblet of Belch's turkey wings, you know. You just see that and you're like, that's a Viking thing. You pull up and you eat it. So, but then you have like Hiccup's grilled salmon. You go back to that scene in the first How to Train a Dragon where he's giving Toothless that fish for the first time, that bonding moment. So we had to have a fish dish tied to Hiccup there with that, you know. So really tied through with the characters. You have Stormfly's fresh catch, Valka's vegan burger, you know. And then in the middle we have here the Starfest platter. Which is a throwback to the Thawfest games, right? This is a big feast to give for all the dragon riders to have sustenance as they're going through these games. So definitely tying back to it all and playing around with the IP and the culture.
It's so awesome. What I love about a lot of the food that we've seen from Epic Universe so far, it's not typical theme park food. And I love that.
Yep. And that's the goal. What is theme park food? We don't look at theme park food. We just look at great food, right? Fresh food, something for everyone. So our approach at Universal Orlando is to just look at it. What's great? We listen. What are they asking for? And how does it fit within the story we're trying to tell?
And it really comes across because it takes the theming of the land to that next level.
Absolutely.
It really does.
It does. And as a foodie, everything you said has just made my heart sing. And I just want to eat it all.
Yeah, and that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
We want you to come in. I always tell a story when we first had guests start coming in. They're walking into Mead Hall, and they started crying. And not tears of disappointment or sadness. It was tears of joy to see what we've done. And then when that first dish comes out to them, whether it's the Thawfest platter or the Berserker's meatballs, and seeing that smile before they even eat it. And then we just give them great food on top of it, and it brings them to the movie. It brings them to that, and that's why we do it.
Yeah. It's a whole experience.
Yes.
That word is immersion.
Immersion is the key word there.
Absolutely.
It all has purpose.
So, I've got a question. So, if you had to choose one of these meals as your last meal, which one would it be? I know you're not supposed to choose your favourite out of your kids, but which one would be your final meal?
So that's tough. It depends what type of day my last day is, because it changes day to day.
That's fair.
I think if it was my last meal, and I would say the Thawfest platter, because it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So I'm getting that grilled salmon, I'm getting that smoked sausage, I'm getting the chicken drums with that wild berry barbecue. Yeah. So I'm not having to choose one individual thing. I'm having it all in one. Now, could I finish that as my last meal? It's a shareable plate, so we would see.
Maybe you'd share it.
Yeah.
I don't know that word very often.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, the food is, the whole land is awesome, and the food just elevates it above everything else.
Thank you.
We've been hearing so many good things, and just excited to finally be here and experiencing it.
We're excited to have you.
And it's, awesome. Thank you for being part of creating all of this, because it's very much appreciated.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marcus. Yeah. Kathryn, can you state your name for us on the
my name is Kathrynn DiGenova. I'm the senior show producer. I oversaw park-wide entertainment for Epic Universe.
So we know each other?
Yes.
We know how much entertainment means to us inside a theme park.
Yes.
We have not seen Untrainable. That is our next destination. But awesome. Just seeing the characters walking around the park so far adds so much to this land. How much of a passion for you was bringing that element to the park?
This is huge for me. I've spent the majority of my career with theme park entertainment, and to be able to help shape what the entertainment was for Universal Epic Universe is a dream come true.
How many times have you watched the movies in preparation?
Well, because I was fortunate enough to work on the entirety of the park, I had a lot of movies to watch. Right. And I have watched them a lot of times. So it's all research to make sure that it's an authentic experience.
It probably helps having some young children at the moment.
Yes, of course, yes.
Excuse.
My daughter is very excited about How to Train Your Dragon right now. She often refers to Toothless as Toothless.
Yes, I have.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes. Yes.
So what, other than watching the movies, what research did you have to do when fleshing out the entertainment as land specifically?
So we, holistically across the park, we wanted to elevate our entertainment. And so for me, that starts with looking at what is possible, what the guest expectation would be. So for How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, it's really about meeting the iconic characters. It's having that incredible moment with Toothless and Hiccup and being part of that. It's being able to laugh with Rough Nut and Tough Nut and learn to be a firefighter. It's all of those pieces that all come together to make the world feel really authentic and immersive.
And it really does.
I'm glad,
And then obviously the pièce de résistance is the Untrainable Dragon,
Absolutely.
Which you opened in Beijing as well.
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to work on Universal Studios Beijing, and the team there created the Untrainable Dragon for Universal Beijing, and we were able to adapt that show here, bring the same creative team on board, and make the show fit the storyline of this world.
So it is a slightly different show from that one.
Just slightly different, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, I know that was a huge passion for you.
Of course, yeah. My passion is really about how we are able to create these theatrical experiences, working with the folks on my team who worked on the Untrainable, and also, of course, Le Cirque Arcanu. These are big theatrical immersive moments that we get to bring to our guests for the first time.
I'm just like shell shocked. The whole land is just so beautiful.
It's overwhelming, isn't it?
And you know me, I've actually cried. So you know how much of a shock that is. It's just like, wait.
Did you bring tissues?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we want to talk about Toothless and the other...
Yes.
The technology that's been brought into this park for the entertainment as well is mind-blowing.
So one of our other goals was to leverage technology for our guest experience park-wide. So we've been able to do that with entertainment as well. But really, it's about leveraging the technology to create a seamless experience so that you don't feel the technology, you feel the immersive moments across the lands.
Yes, we have not met Toothless yet, but we did see, I can't remember what the dragon's name was, the little...
Oh, yeah, our night lights.
It wasn't Dart, it was one of the other ones.
Pouncer or Rough Runner.
It might have been Rough Runner.
Yeah.
Just
incredible.
I didn't know about that.
I'd seen it as a spoiler. Tracy got to see it. I was like, prepare for your mind to be blown. Like, what is that?
Yeah. It's we have dragons, right? We're in Berk and we have dragons.
It's awesome. From me and all of our listeners and Tracy, thank you for everything you have done for this park, because I cannot wait to see the rest of it if this is the bar.
It has been an incredible labor of love for an entire team. I've been incredibly blessed to have such a stellar team that brought all of this to life. And all of credit goes to how well they've all worked together across the last few years.
It is very, very noticeable, I will say that. Thank you, Kathryn.
Yeah, of course.
UUOP is brought to you by the Producers Club. Join today and get bonus episodes, chance to be guest host, be part of our awesome Facebook community, and more. Head over to uUOP.supercast.com to subscribe. Shameless plug. Welcome back. Next up on the list is a little-known franchise based off of Mario. Super Nintendo World.
So,
yes.
just to jump in quickly. Chris, I had the same experience here that you had. This was so low down on my list. Mm-hmm. And I walked into that land, and the sights and the music, tears streaming down my face. I was like, where the hell has this come from?
This is not a Nintendo kid.
Did you go? Yeah, that's right. You're not a Nintendo person, right? Oh, did you go non-verbal for a few minutes? Because that's what happened to me. I was just like, I couldn't talk.
I couldn't figure out where the emotion was coming from because I'm like, I have no connection to any of this. But yeah, it just...
Yeah, me neither.
I feel like it's just so ingrained into pop culture over the past 30 years that whether you've played anything Nintendo-based or not, you know it. Yes. You know of it.
I mean, we've seen the Mario movie that came out. Was it last year? This year? Last year? Yeah, we watched it. Right. Yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, we watched it.
I genuinely don't remember.
I mean, I grew up playing Nintendo. Mm-hmm. I've never been like a huge video game person. Even as a kid, I couldn't like sit and play it all day long or anything. But that is what I grew up playing was Super Mario. So I know the franchise. I'm not drawn to it. However, just walking into that land, it's like the theming is overwhelming.
Yes,
so
yes.
As a theme park person in general, there's no way you can't walk into that land and appreciate what they built.
Mm-hmm. Just a huge smile on your face. Like anybody who, unless you have any sort of sensory issue, is not going to walk into that land and just look around with a huge smile on your face.
Yeah, I FaceTime multiple people while I was there, and all of them just, again, jaw on the floor. Mm-hmm. Just like, what am I seeing? I go, you have no idea. This is nothing over video. I've seen it a bunch of times, and in the other parks. Until you're there, and Tracy, I mean, this from going to it prior.
Yep,
it's incredible.
It
like
really
that experience going in there, it literally you are transported into a world of video games.
Yeah,
essentially.
And honestly, it felt like they picked the one up in Japan, dropped it down, and just added a few extra bits.
Because you said, like, Tracy was like, I was going, oh, where's so-and-so? And she's like, just follow me.
Yeah. And we needed the elevator to go up to the next. We'd been down in the lower level. We wanted to go back up and go up. Me, old knees and all of this lot. So, like, we need an elevator. And Lee's looking around, and I was like, this way. And he's like, no, that's a stroller park. And I was like, just follow me. Went around the corner, and hidden at the back is an elevator, just like in Japan, which I loved. Because it was just like, this is familiar. Yeah. Like we said, it's so overwhelming.
It really is.
It's just the salt and all your senses all at once.
Yeah.
But it was nice that I had Donkey Kong to
something
that
extra.
New, yeah, and it
oh good,
fantastic.
We just bypassed Mario, but Donkey Kong, incredible.
That whole area
is like the land within the land.
So I will, So I will tell you the story of our media event experience in that park just quickly, and then I'll let you go. The line for Donkey Kong, walk on. The line for Super Mario Kart, walk on. The line for Yoshi, walk on. The line for that Donkey Kong float, 20 minutes long.
Mm-hmm. That never failed to amuse us.
Because they were free, so everyone was getting them.
Were they giving out the barrels too, or just the drink?
Oh, yes, we have two of them upstairs.
That's fantastic. That's one of my favorite souvenirs from that place.
Yes.
And loved it.
Oh, also, yeah, it does taste fantastic, especially in that heat.
Yeah, it was great.
The ride, I'm still not sure about. It kind of passed. We've ridden it twice. It kind of passed me by. We were watching some vlogs tonight, and I'm like, I don't remember that.
Are you talking about Donkey Kong, or are you talking about Mario Kart?
No, Donkey Kong. We'll get to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very rickety, but I'm gathering it's meant to be.
Yes.
It's apparently got rougher as it's from when it started. I didn't mind it.
Just lift your elbows up at the broken track bits.
It was okay, is what I will say.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. That whole roughness is a play into what you're doing, right? Like you're in a train cart that's not built for fun. It's built for, working.
Yeah.
And it kind of plays into it, in my opinion, that roughness is nice. Riding it for the first time in the front row was incredible. Especially not knowing anything. I never saw the POVs or anything like that. Mm-hmm. I think it's great, and you get to also see many other Kongs, which I thought was great. We enjoyed it.
It is a rough ride. but like you said, it's supposed to be. My first ride was with Noah, so it was so fun. He was my little tour guide, and it was the cutest thing ever. So I will cherish that memory forever. My second ride through, I was by myself on my VIP tour, and well, actually, I was with basically a stranger. But
why? Where was Audrey?
She had tapped out.
Okay.
Because of lots of reasons. We'll talk about that on a future episode.
Okay.
But anyway, the second time through, without my tour guide, without my little Noah, and without the element of surprise, I was able to pay attention to exactly how rough it was. And I was already hot, and I was already not feeling great. So combining that with like that roughness and the jerkiness, I was like, oh, okay. I might be done with that ride for this trip, because it is rough. But like the design of it, phenomenal. Like you have to appreciate it. The fact I thought, and I told this to Lee and Tracy while we were there, I was like, because I was spoiler free, I really thought that the only jump part where it was going to jump the track was that one part that you see in the concept art. I was shocked to see that happened so many times throughout the entire ride. So it was a nice surprise. It's a brilliantly designed ride. Very cool.
Also, what a beautiful facade.
Oh yeah.
But then also, it's like what I love, like what Velocicoaster's done to Jurassic Park, the energy it gives, because you can see multiple parts of that ride throughout the land. So obviously the bit Michelle was talking about, that jump in front of, there's that bit there, and then there's another bit and then there's another bit where it goes through the water on the other side. So you see that ride from around the land as well. And I love when rides do that, because it just adds so much energy to the world. Sorry.
Yeah. No, 100%. And this one even more so than Jurassic Park and any other ride, I think, on the resort itself, because it's not just, oh, here's a coaster going through, right? Rip Ride Rocket, you see the coaster come out the side. Oh, cool, there it is. No, this is like everything is themed. So you can see all the theming. It's like, no, this is the land that you're in right there. You're seeing the coaster jump, because you can't visually see that while you're on the coaster. You're experiencing it. But seeing it outside the coaster, it gets you hyped up for that actual jump to happen.
Yeah. It's a weird one as well, isn't it? Because I know we got told, apparently it's a quite a strange coaster, because as far as I'm aware, it's the first roller coaster that's been made by 3 different companies coming together to create. So as far as I'm aware, it's Mach, Intamin, and Vekoma. That's why they've had so much trouble with it, because it's 3 coaster companies putting sections together and all trying to figure out how they work together. So that, as a coaster nerd, that's pretty cool.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. The lands themselves, let me tell you, those are the hottest effing lands I've ever experienced in my life.
Yes,
did I or did I not warn you?
You want to try doing power-up band at like 2:00 in the afternoon, sweating your off trying to do...
God.
Yes.
And there's not going to be any shade there. Like
there is no shade. Nope.
There will never be shade. Nope. Like the rest of the park, it just the trees haven't matured. The park is new. Nothing has matured. That land won't have that because it's not part of the land.
I TikTok video that they were pointing that specific thing out, which kind of takes away from the aesthetics. But the only shade that most people have found is the tunnel that goes into Donkey Kong.
That's not quite true, but okay.
Well, that's where
it's there, but there's no airflow.
No. What I'm saying is, people were lined up all along the floors eating their food because there's no other place outside that they could find to do that, and that kind of takes away from going from land to land.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is probably the hottest world. Yeah, without a doubt.
I would either do that land first thing in the morning or in the evening after the sun goes down.
Yes. So Mario Kart.
Yes, Chris. You can see Chris is desperate again. Andy, you were right.
Did we just wait a minute? Whoa. Did we just skip Yoshi?
Well, we get there afterwards. You got to.
Oh, after. Okay. All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'd skip Yoshi, to be fair. Spoilers.
Yeah, I would too.
No, that's fine. That's why I'm asking. Do we skip it? Okay, got it. Yeah, don't write it.
I like
you just
Yoshi,
said how hot it
cute.
is. Do you want to go 1 mile per hour in the heat? No.
I liked it for what it was.
It's good to rest your feet and just chill for 30 seconds.
But it's like when we were there on our last day, I had like a 40-minute wait, and I'm like, hell no, I'm not even doing single ride.
I enjoy the queue more than the ride.
Yeah, it's not. It's something I would do if it was 20 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, and probably never.
What
do it
did I
again.
say about the line?
What about it?
Cat in the Hat.
Oh, yes, it feels like Cat in the Hat.
Very much.
Yes, it does.
In a good way, though.
Yes.
What's annoying noise? Like in Japan, there are places for power-up points that you can't get to.
Yeah, and I didn't. I know we had
in
Michelle.
The line?
Yeah.
I know we talked about it, Michelle, that you said your buttons weren't working, and it's never...
No, mine weren't either.
It's not specifically kind of told to you, at least from when we went through the queue, of what the hell you're actually supposed to do.
You are told when you get in that you there's a little spiel you are told.
I don't remember
Look
that.
for the eggs and press the
I only knew what I
egg.
was doing because you told me from when you wrote it in Japan.
Yeah, but it does tell you. It's for children. And children can grasp that.
See, my little eggs wouldn't push. Like, they wouldn't move.
Hey.
So I was like, am I just supposed to tap my band to it? Like, what is happening here? I don't know what's going on.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, the decent view of the
I
land,
suspect
but,
I suspect that some people have been punching them rather than pressing
probably.
them.
Also, I hate how, and we'll get off this now. It's a brand new ride, just opened up.
I like
all the dirty footprints on the floor in Yoshi kind of irk me and bother me.
Look, we didn't talk about it on Celestial Constellation Carousel last week, but the amount of paint peeling on that ride is
really
criminal, actually. It's really bad. Really bad.
But enough negative Nancy.
Yes.
Maybe. Mario.
So, yes, we got some shit after doing our Epic Universe ride hype lists, me and Chris specifically, by a certain Mr. DiGenova. For how low we had Mario Kart down on our lists. So I very specifically messaged Andy after our first ride and just went, dude, that was amazing. I love that ride so much.
And let me just say, it's completely different in English to in Japanese.
So let me say this much, right? And it's funny enough that you mentioned this because I haven't done it yet. I keep on forgetting because you know how great I am at messaging people.
Of course.
I need to message him. And my message was, so let's go back. We did the previews, went to Nintendo. The land itself went from the bottom, very high up, let's just say, right? Oops. It went up high and did Donkey Kong, loved it. Didn't do the power-up bands because I'm like, oh, we don't have time. We'll do it next time. Did Yoshi. It's okay. Did Mario Kart. And didn't have the greatest experience on there. I'm like, well, this land's kind of right.
Okay.
Come back this time. And we're in a group setting, and we dedicated one of the days to spending a good amount of time. Like, let's buy the wristbands. Let's go do the thing. And in my mind, I didn't think it was going to be that great. I got that wristband, synced it up, okay, and added me on there. It's Mushroom Muncher UUOP.
Okay.
I did.
I'm going to do it now.
I started doing the coins. I started doing the games. And then rode Mario Kart again with the thought of I need to collect coins. I need to do this. And had such an amazing time.
Yep.
I disliked that ride initially until I really understood what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And my God, was it so much fun. And the rewritability, like, especially when you go with a group of people, because it's very Men in Blackish, where you are competing to see who gets the most coins and all that stuff. I loved it. It was so good. So awesome. I was going to I got off that ride, and I was supposed to message Andy and be like, brother, phenomenal. It was great. I love it.
It's so much fun.
So much fun.
So much
fun. And that
fun.
queue, the queue has to be one of the greatest queues as well.
Yes.
I need that Piranha Plant Tiffany lamp.
Yeah.
They need to sell that. I'm having a pair.
Michelle's being very quiet right now.
Uh-oh.
Well, I don't want to.
Andy, message her, not us.
I don't want to knock it because it's regardless. Like it's amazing. It's just not my thing. But I still appreciate all of it. As far as rides go, and again, this is a preference, right? Because Lee and I battled this out when it came to Minion Blast, right? Because he likes the concept of competing. Although I find that fun in certain circumstances when I don't have anything, when I've been to the parks a million times and I want just a little something extra to do, I find that competitive activity to be a little something extra that I can do. As far as like considering Mario Kart as one of the rides, like it doesn't feel like a ride to me. It just feels like I'm playing a really fancy video game because like I have an AR, I have a VR at home, and I know it's not the same thing, but it can feel that way. And me not being a video game person, I was just like,
I can see that.
I mean, it was okay. It was cool. Like the technology is phenomenal. Yes. Yeah, like the technology is phenomenal. I'm sure a million people out there who are gamers think this is amazing, but because I'm not a gamer, and this really does feel like just an elevated like VR experience at an arcade, I just didn't feel like it was a ride to me.
I do apologize, Andy, by the way.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
It's not Andy.
It is
design.
Andy. You just
the design, the technology, the theming, like phenomenal. It's just not my thing. That's all.
You mentioned Minion Blast, and I'm not a big fan of that ride. And the reason why I'm not a big fan of that ride is because it's one of those games that I used to hate playing in the arcade, where you just mash the button down and that's it.
That's because you don't know what you do, right? So there is Chris, right? So we rode it with someone who kind of knows what he's doing with that and explained certain things. And like I managed to get to like number 12 on the leaderboard, I think, because I kind of know what I'm doing now.
Just need to point out that I've been trying to teach you the hints and tips.
He told me way much more. It is not. It is not it's not a button masher if you know what you're doing. You can treat it like a button masher, which is what I always did. I had no idea what I was doing on that.
I just need to point out, I was very miffed that with the four of us,
you were the only one.
I was the only one that didn't get on the leaderboard.
Yeah,
and you're the only one that had ridden it.
We're talking about Minion Blast right now, or okay?
Yeah, back to this part.
I could see that, and I will go study and do that. However, with that being said, the video game or the gamification aspect of this ride of now we're talking about Mario Kart.
Yes.
Yeah.
To me, it feels more precise.
Yes.
It's more of a skilled game than Minion Blast.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Oh, yeah.
The technology is phenomenal. Like you look at the thing, you shoot, like it's great.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy.
And so that's why I really enjoy that part of it, because I can increase my skills on this by knowing certain areas, my hand-eye coordinate, all that stuff. Like that all plays into this game. And if you like playing video games or like competing, it's going to scratch all those different itches that you have.
And it really does. Yeah. For me, I loved it. And when I messaged Andy that, he was like, you've just made my little heart sing.
Mm-hmm. Does everybody know what their best score was on Mario Kart? I've got yours down in here.
Like 135 or something did I get?
128 you said in the chat with Kathryn and
Andy. I was
Andy.
137 or 139 the second time.
Okay.
I was 127 or something.
Suck
so
it.
For the fact that I didn't like video games, I think I did okay.
Go on.
I was 149.
Damn it.
Apparently anything over, what did Kathryn say? Anything over about 112 is really good.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we rode it. The last time we rode it, my thing wasn't working properly. So the only way I could get it to fire was to turn the steering wheel all the way to the right and hold it there, and then they would fire. If I did anything else, it wouldn't fire. So they gave us a re-ride. We went back on it again, and then Tracy's wasn't working properly.
Yeah. I just said one button wasn't working. I still beat you.
I love it. I would ride that thing. I said to Tracy after our last ride, I said I could ride that all day long.
I rode it the first.
See, I love Mario Kart.
I rode it the first time, and
hey, I was late that one.
I rode it the first time. I was like, don't really care if I ride it again or whenever. Rode it the second time with all the, like I said earlier, and I was fiending. I was fiending for another one.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good, and it just seems about that competitive edge in me of like why we ride Men in Black as much as we do. Why we ride Men in Black as much as we do.
But it's also, the thing that really levels it up as well. The first time I didn't have my power band either.
Yeah.
Second time I had the power band, and when I tell you, I don't know what is the funnest thing to do in that land. It is competing, in my mind, with the power band. Like I turned into a child. Like the entire group was just going to all the things, just hitting the coins, like mindless drones, just kind of hitting the things. And there were points that if you looked at me, you would think I was not having a good time because I'm going out of my way when I'm going to get a refill my soda. I'm like, oh, hold on one second, I got to do this real quick. Like, no, I'm having the best time. Like I am loving this so much.
Awesome.
That also added to the ride experience, having that in there. Yeah. And on top of that, one of the other things, which I hope one day this technology exists that they could do it in the parks safely, is the tech that they have on that ride with the AR. I think they did a really good job with it.
Yes.
There's different aspects in the park, like the binoculars, where you can kind of see some more AR stuff. Wouldn't it be so amazing to have meta-style AR glasses that you could wear in a land?
Oh,
like that,
wow, yes.
Where now there's Goombas on the floor around here. You know what I mean? Okay. And obviously there's a bunch of safety concerns involved.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Can you imagine the lawsuits?
This is. I'm just blue skying right now. But my God, if they have the wristbands, forget that. Themed AR glasses, the character that you want, that you can walk around that land, because AR is safer than VR, right? But you could walk around with AR and add such this crazy layer to that land, and that's just that land. I even started going further. I'm like, oh, put it in Isle of Berk. Put dragons in the sky. You have your glasses on. Just look up. There's dragons flying around.
Where were those dragons? Because we never saw that drone, by the way.
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm not knocking the ride at all. And I'm sure eventually, like, it'll grow on me. But right now, because Epic is so new, and I really love attractions. Like, I like attractions that I get to, I can't say this without getting that's what she said. I like rides. Like, I like riding rides.
That's what she said.
That actually, I knew it was coming.
You got it
I like to get into a vehicle and be taken for a ride.
All right.
Those are
seen Black Fawn.
Those are my types of attractions.
Yeah.
And because it doesn't feel like that on this attraction, I'm not quite there yet. Okay. But later on, when Epic Universe is no longer a novelty and I'm able to just go there to do like some of the little extra things and have a little fun focusing on certain lands, I can see myself growing to love this, where I can be like, hey, you guys want to head into Nintendo and, you know, let's see how many points we can get or knock out this challenge or whatever. I can get there. But the novelty of the park as a whole won't let me enjoy that stuff.
No, of course. It's going to be years. It's going to be years.
And this is exactly why I've said we're not going to do any world rankings or ride rankings or restaurant rankings until we've been again in October, to give ourselves enough visits to be able to... I think you need that space in between to kind of...
to digest and
then go back and see it with fresh eyes again, and then probably, like, after October, we'll probably start doing things like that. But yeah, it's still... I agree with you, Michelle. It is still so fresh that you still kind of walk in like a deer in the headlights a lot of the time.
Because where do you look first? What do you listen to first?
Even though we've been in there 4 days, there's still so much I've realised that I didn't take in.
Did you do Bowser's Challenge?
Yes, yes, it was amazing.
Amazing.
So much fun.
Not what I expected.
No,
I
it was
thought it was
so
going to be
much
something
fun.
Small, and just the lead up, again, going back to the wristbands, right? The power bands, like how much extra, fun that adds into the park. Yes, I know it's paid for, whatever.
No, it wasn't for us, but whatever.
Damn.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
But doing that Bowser Jr. Challenge was so much fun, and leading up to it, because you got to do all the other things to get to that
get your keys.
Yeah, thank you, Guy and Dawn, because we wouldn't. I don't think we.
Guy's
done it
very
without
bossy
them.
though.
Yeah, he is.
It was great. It was the alarm clocks. I
oh my
love
god,
that.
I was knackered. 2:00 in the afternoon, sweating your running after trying to tap clocks on and off. Yeah, thanks a lot.
It was great.
Yeah, but I will say this just for all the people listening: get better at Mario Kart because it will be on the next Weekender challenge.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
We need to talk about Toadstool Cafe, which should still be Canopio's, but
let's go.
I'll allow it.
Talk to us.
Just quickly.
Hurry up, yes. We've only eaten in there once. We got breakfast. We had the garlic nuts.
Yeah, for
amazing.
breakfast. Garlic nuts.
Amazing.
They were good.
Which looked like little toadstools.
So soft and we had so much garlic that day.
Yeah.
I love that. They did it for us too. I love that.
Yeah.
So good.
That place is absolutely gorgeous.
Michelle, did you go in?
We did. We went in there on our last night, just briefly. And all we had were the garlic knots, and I had that boba.
Oh, yes,
you had that as well, the lemonade.
The mango.
Yeah.
That was good.
That was so good.
That was very good.
Yeah.
It was very, very good. The garlic knots that we had were not good at all.
Really?
Maybe because it was late at night and they'd been sitting out for a while. They just weren't good.
Ours was so good.
We didn't even finish eating them.
Yeah, we were in there at like 9 o'clock in the morning. They were so fresh.
I would like to say, though, that cup that the boba drink came in, I managed to get that home.
Yeah.
So.
Really?
Yeah. So, did well with that.
We only did the garlic rolls as well, and we want to go back to eat more.
Yes, we're going to when we go back. Yeah, it's so damn cute in there.
Loving watching. All the windows are all something different. Watching when the storm rolls in and the bullet bills are coming through and everything, and watching these little toads run about. I do have a concern, though.
Okay.
We have toadstools, serving fungi, mushrooms to the clientele.
Cannibalism.
Well, it's not for them, but they're murdering their own kind.
Yeah.
It's a little disturbing to me.
I agree with you.
Yes.
I'm also a little concerned, and we'll see what happens in the future, and not just here, but in other restaurants as well. We talked about the furniture in all the restaurants, but the glassware and the plates and all this stuff are also very highly themed.
Yes.
So I remember in Mario, or in Toadstool, Pinocchio's, I remember the plate that the garlic rolls came on was this gorgeous little plate that also had more mushrooms all around it.
Yes.
And we didn't do anything bad, but I'm like, I could see this being a problem of those finding their way out.
Yes. It's like the knives and forks in Atlantic.
Yeah, like you said.
In Atlantic. Have you seen the fish scale? Yeah. Oh, amazing. Amazing.
That one less, but see, that one less so, because that's a restaurant and you have a server there going after you.
Yes.
Whereas like these other places, even if I remember correctly, Das Steakhouse also had some cool plates and stuff that they had there.
Yeah,
just everything that we got served on, I'm like, this is nice. This is not a paper or plastic plate. This is an actual dishware. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it stays there forever.
Yeah.
But
I'm just going through my photographs, my millions of photographs.
Actually, one other question for you, Tracy. How weird did it feel knowing what you said about Canopio's Cafe and how difficult it was to get in there? How weird did it feel just walking into this one?
It was crazy.
It was empty when we went in.
Same here with us, too.
Yeah, and it was just like, I wasted so much time waiting to go in as well. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it was empty. I think there was like 2 other tables in there when we were in.
Yeah, we went in at night and it was dead. There were only like 2 other people in there.
Strange, isn't it?
All right. Well, anything else you want to talk about this land? Because we have one more to get to.
No, I think we're good.
Yeah, good. All right. Next up, we do have, before we get to the next land, we do have an interview with Chef Robert Martinez from Toadstool Cafe, and then we'll be right back.
Hi. If you can just let everyone know who you are and what your role is here.
So my name is Robert Martinez Jr. I'm the Director of Culinary and Executive Chef for our shared service department here at Universal Orlando Resort.
So how long have you worked for Universal at this point?
I'm going on 24 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 24 years. So just a little short period of time. But I've been with this company for so long because my father used to work for the company. He actually retired 2 years ago.
Okay.
He was also an executive chef for the company. He's like, hey, you need a summer job, come work at Universal. I'll put you in one of these kitchens. And long story short, I made a career out of it.
And that's awesome. Yeah. We hear that a lot from Universal, that you get in on the ground and work your way up, and it's
we call it the hotel where you could check in but you can't check out. It's definitely one of those places where you fall in love with it. You fall in love with being able to create this experience for our guests, and then the company itself is just an amazing company where it gives you the tools to continue growing your career.
Yeah. So talking about the experience, we are in Toadstool Cafe in Super Nintendo World. And again, food has become such a major part of the Universal Orlando experience. How much do you feel bringing the food to Super Nintendo World is part of that experience?
I mean, Super Nintendo World is unique, right? It's fun, but it's unique because it touches so many different generations. I could bring my kids here and they know it from what they're playing today, on their Super Nintendos. Yes. And I know it from when I grew up and, playing my original Nintendo and blowing in the cartridges to make it work. We all remember that, right? I think it's the fun part about it. It's that as you walk in through some of these portals, as you're going through the warp pipe here at Nintendo, everybody is receiving their own emotions of what they feel, whether it's your kids and they think it's just the most interactive place to be, or whether it's the grown-ups and they remember it from the video games that they were playing when they were younger. It just touches so many generations in so many different ways that I think that's the fun part about it.
Absolutely.
That's really, I like that a lot. The whole family dynamic of it. It's like with you and your father working here. It's like generational. It's timeless as well.
It really is. It really is. And I think that's what we're trying to do with the menus as you tour and take a journey through all these different worlds today. You're hard pressed to see a repeat menu, because we're really trying to immerse you into the stories. When Celestial Park being the heart of it all, it's just a beautiful place to be. That's designed to truly put the park back in theme park.
Yeah, and it really has.
Beautiful, beautiful landscaping, beautiful water. Really, we want you to slow down a little bit, right?
That's exactly what I said. It's so peaceful and calming.
Yeah, I think so many times our guests are in a rush. They're in a rush to get into the rides. They're in a rush to try to really get everything. Yeah. I think when you take a step back and you look at the beauty of what some of this landscaping is, it really allows you to slow down for a second, and Celestial Park is just one of the most beautiful parks I've ever seen, right? And I think you get to dine in places like the Atlantic, which is this, aquarium with this Victorian feel to it where, floor to glass ceilings and all this beautiful views of Celestial. And it really lets you just relax.
Yes.
Either have a cocktail or a mocktail and then enjoy delicious crafted cuisine.
And that's the thing that we've seen about the food at Epic Universe, that I hate to say it, it's not typical themed chicken nuggets, that type of thing. Everywhere has something unique, but it's good food. And I think that's the theme park food, like I say, used to be, it's burgers and fries, and it's not anymore, and I love that so much.
Yeah, the food has become such an important part to the immersive storytelling that we're doing with, the designs of all of these theme parks. I think we, as a culinary brigade here at Universal Orlando Resort, we don't even use the word theme park food anymore. It's just really good food. And we could go all the way up from, fine dining and, something more relatable and, touches all aspects, all cuisines, all flavor profiles. One of my favorite locations is the Blue Dragon, right? Really, truly giving you a tour of Pan Asia, touching really authentic flavors, I think, and that was the key to that restaurant for us, is to make sure that, if we were going to do it, we were going to do it right, and that we were going to pay homage to these cuisines and really, if it's spicy, it's going to be spicy, right? And
I am so pleased to hear that, because a couple of years ago I was in Korea and Japan, and you come over and you get the cuisines, and then they're not
authentic.
The westernized for the heat levels.
Absolutely.
Like, no, if you're going to give us it,
give it to us.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. And that's really what we wanted to do with all the restaurants, but most specifically, the Atlantic and the Blue Dragon, those are two of our babies where we know that, it's like when you ask, like, hey, what do you guys like to eat? That's what we like to eat, because those menus are very relatable for you to be able to share and try a little bit of everything. And I think that's just so fun. It's just how people eat nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah. And then talking about Toadstool Cafe, it's a fun dining experience.
It's really fun, So here, obviously I'm just the spokesperson, but Chef Toad is the actual chef of this place. And he created a menu here that, he's really touching on all the different characters, right? You have a Princess Peach cake. You have Bowser's Fireball Meatball Challenge with this super over-the-top 1 pound meatball that, it's a challenge if you get to finish it. And you have lighter dishes like the piranha plant salad, caprese salad, where it's like a piranha plant. It's literally the piranha plant coming out of a war pipe. So it's really, really cool, really immersive. And of course, you can't have, a Toadstool Cafe without a Mario burger and a Luigi chicken sandwich, right? I think those two characters are iconic to the brand. And it's two dishes that I think are amazing too. But then we have like this delicious mushroom bisque on the menu that's vegan, and you have these little tiny toads inside of it, these crackers, and all of these things are being scratch made every single day in our production kitchen. And that's a really big piece to our food and beverage program, which most guests would never know, right? That we have a commissary production kitchen where, that I oversee, that we are making all this stuff from scratch. So the buns that you're eating out in these parks, we're making them from scratch every single night. The bread that you get at Vivo in City Walk is being made every single night. So the fish is brought in full, and we're breaking them down in our butcher shops. The soups and sauces all around our theme park is being made fresh every single day. Every dessert that you touch while you're on our resort is being made fresh every single day by a brigade of cooks in our commissary kitchen, and is being delivered here to these restaurants every single day. And I think that's a story in itself. That's a story of us wanting to be able to control the ingredients from the beginning of it to the end result as it gets to our guests. We get to have that control, and we get to pick our ingredients appropriately, scratch make them, and then ship them out to our guests so that they could then now enjoy it.
Yeah, that commitment to your guests is really...
I'm
really happy to hear that. 'Cause, I'm an absolute foodie.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you would ask me, hey, what's the difference? Like, why? Like, how? And that's how, because we are committed to that piece of our culinary program so deeply that it's embedded in our culture from a food and beverage program here.
Yeah, but we're starting to see a lot now with friends who are gluten intolerant, who are dairy free, who are vegan, and there's so many more options at the theme park now for those people. And if you are one of those people, coming to a theme park as it used to be was a minefield of trying to find something that you could eat, and now it just seems it's not there, but it's definitely getting there without a doubt.
Absolutely. We totally have, with being in a business for 35 plus years, we learn. We've grown, we've evolved. We totally understand that it could be a party of 5 and only one person in that party has a dietary restriction, but we might be segregating them from enjoying meals with the rest of their family. So you won't see a menu in Epic Universe or in Universal Orlando Resort today that does not have a vegan item. That's not a side. It's not a bowl of French fries. It's a full-blown meal, so that they could have something sustainable to keep them, going and enjoying the attractions. I think, for us, as we create food and we go through our tastings and our development, if it's delicious to us, which we're not vegan, it's delicious for vegans, right? And I think that's just how do we come across putting vegan items on the menu? That's how we pick them.
Yeah. This is, because one of our sister shows is Taste of Universe, and I'm a host on that one as well. And it's always, you hear people going, oh, I'm not eating that. Oh, it's vegan. It's like, do you think that vegans don't like good food?
No, yeah, absolutely.
Everybody wants delicious food.
Absolutely, yeah. And honestly, if you were to ask me what's one of my favorite dishes, it's a vegan dish.
Okay.
It's the mapo tofu at the Blue Dragon.
Okay.
It's hidden on the spice level. If you ever had a traditional mapo tofu, just because we substituted pork or beef with, a substitutory protein, it's 100% authentic and delicious. And I mean, it's one of my favorite dishes.
Awesome. Okay, I did have that in Korea, so I will be trying that. Test you.
Please try. Please try it. Let us know how it is.
Yeah.
And feel free to ask for it to be extra spicy. They'll do it for you.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That was my question, was if you had your last meal, what would you get Chef Toad to make for you? Mapo tofu. So you answered that. You see, you read my mind.
Yeah, I did read your mind.
It's okay.
Absolutely.
But as a food experience overall at Epic Universe, what do you want people to take away?
Well, I want people to understand the commitment, the immersion storytelling that we've now are creating with our guests. I think Epic Universe is that perfect combination of perfect partnerships. We've been working on this project for 7 years now, so to be able to truly partner with our Universal creative team and all the IP, the intellectual properties that have their stakeholders into these locations, you get the perfect scenario at the end result because it just feels like one team, one dream, and that's exactly what you get here.
Perfect. Love it.
Yeah, I love that. That's so nice.
Yeah.
That's what we love about Universal.
Yeah, that's what I love about it too, right? And again, we're very serious about what we do. But at the same time, we're able to take the criticism that we get and learn from it and evolve from
That's
it.
good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, it's so nice to speak to you. Thank you so much.
Very nice. Very nice to meet you both.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Perfect.
Yo deseo ir a México.
Where can our vacation wizards take you? Just tap the port key at portkeyvacations.com and let the magic begin.
Welcome back. The third and final land that we are discussing on this episode.
Michelle.
The little land. Michelle, hold your horses, Michelle. Just there it is. I hear the horse. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic.
Michelle, do you need some tissues? So
Michelle, I'll let you lead off, Michelle.
I will just jump in very quickly, right? I knew how much this land meant to Michelle, and because Tracy and I had already been in, I made sure to video Michelle walking into this portal for the first time, and she was bawling to the point where Peter Castillo, the guy who we interviewed for Dark Universe, also did some work over here. He shared my video of Michelle walking in here. Because this is how I feel every time I walk into that portal.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was so that was the first portal that I walked into, period, on opening morning. We didn't do anything in there. We just went in there to get reservation times for our disability passes for ministry. But just walking in, I'm still speechless. I'm still speechless. I know it's probably not going to be everybody's favorite. It is very niched, right? Like you have to really not only love Harry Potter, but also Fantastic Beasts to fully appreciate it, because there's a lot of Fantastic Beast references in there. But me being a bigger fan of the Fantastic Beast franchise as opposed to the Harry Potter franchise, it was everything I imagined. That when the first time I saw that movie, I was like, this needs to be a land. And then when I saw the second movie, when they were actually in France, I was like, oh, this would be an even better land. And they did it. Like they couldn't have done it any better, other than making it bigger, which we already know is already in the works. But Place Cachet itself, I don't know.
What's Place Cachet? That's the restaurant.
Are you taking the Chris?
That's the whole land.
Chris, no, hang on, Michelle. Chris, are you taking the?
No, I didn't know it was called that.
The whole area is called Place Cachet.
Oh, I've been calling it the Ministry of Magic.
No, the Ministry of Magic is the
name
Ministry
of the world
Magic.
Itself. Yeah.
1920s France area is Place Cachet.
I've seen the term. I'm just memory.
So That whole area, like the whole area that right now we're walking into is called Place Cachet, and it's set in what was it, 1920s?
Paris, yeah.
1920s France. And there's just so much detail. Like when you turn around and look at the statue that you walk through, the arch,
The big
you turn around and look at all of the creatures that they built into that. Holy moly. The details on the portal itself. I don't know if you guys noticed the wands that surround the arch on the portal itself. There's so many Harry Potter and just Fantastic Beast references that are tiny, that are only for fans, that they didn't have to do, but they did. The character interactions there, they're not obvious to non-fans, but to those of us who are fans, it's incredible the types of interactions you can have with some of these people. It's so cool. It's so good. So good. The auras are amazing.
Oh my God. So I've got the best video of an aura in there. He's just stood. I can't remember what the sort of back dark area is called. If you go at the top of Place Cachet and turn right, and then it takes you round into where Le Goblet Noir is. And he was just stood, leaned up against the wall, and I was like videoing, just getting little snippets of video. And as I walked past him and then carry on round, wasn't really taking any notice of him. When I went back and watched that video, as I pass him, he just casually looks up at me, follows me along, and then looks back down. I was like, oh my God, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're so nonchalant.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you're not a fan, you wouldn't know that's even a character.
No, I think it was at first. And then I realized.
Right.
Yeah.
So we had a great interaction with God, I can't remember her name.
Cosme Akashua.
Cosme Akashore.
The wand keeper?
Cosme Akashua.
Yeah, Cosme Akashore.
Cosme Akashore. There we go. She's just kind of walking around, talking to people, comes up to us. I don't know if I mentioned this already, so stop me if I did. But yeah, she was just telling us, oh yeah, this is my wand shop right over here. And, here, we don't do it like those other guys. You're like,
oh yeah,
you pick the wand. Like, the wand doesn't have to pick you. It can, maybe, but, you get it. And I just thought it was like a really nice, like just variation from what we're used to of how proper everything is. Whereas over here, they're a little more lax, obviously not, dedicated wands to certain people. They're just general wands, which are still beautiful. But the fact that they did that was fantastic.
It's like the interaction we had with her. I was like, oh, I don't know whether you should be talking to me, and like flash my dark mark. And she was like, I've forgotten. And she was like, oh, I don't know what that is. What is that?
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, it's Lord Voldemort's mark. She's like, Voldemort? Who is that? Like, it means just Voldemort. It means like flee from death. It's a stupid name, but okay. And I'm like, oh my God, that is so cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So Audrey and I on our last night chose to go back in to Place Cachet at night to play with our wands. And because the lighting packages on the wand experiences and the wand interactions are much better seen at night. So we literally just went and spent like a good hour in there just wandering around. See what I did there? And so there's this one wand experience over in a window where it's potions. And Audrey, there's like a really rare potion that sometimes is conjured up, and it's the Polyjuice potion.
Okay.
It doesn't come up very often. Well, Audrey conjured it, and there happened to be a female auror nearby, just kind of, we didn't even know she was looking at us, but she came up behind me and Audrey, and she was like, oh, a Polyjuice potion. What do you need that for? So she like went on this whole big like investigation, like interrogation with Audrey about the fact that she was conjuring a Polyjuice potion. And this interaction lasted for a good 10 minutes.
Awesome.
It was so good.
Wow.
Yeah, so good. That land is just amazing. The fact that it only has one ride right now is okay.
For now.
that's the ride itself. We'll get to that in a minute. The show, let's talk about the show.
Well, actually, I want to go back just briefly and talk about
Michelle's just hosting now.
Character interaction still. I don't know whether you guys got to meet Cassandra Trelawney, Professor Sybil Trelawney's great-great-grandmother. That whole thing is amazing.
It really is.
We had like a good 5-minute chat with her. It was so cool.
Yeah.
Yep. And you guys didn't have wands at the time, right?
We did, but we didn't bring them in with us.
If you have, you don't have a second gen wand.
No.
Right? Yeah. So if you have a second gen wand with you and it's connected to your app and you've set up your app, she can read your wand. She can tell what house if you've set it up again, she knows your name. She knows your house. She knows your Patronus. She knows your, she can even tell what spells you've conjured.
How amazing is that?
It makes the interaction. It makes the interaction very personal.
So, Chris, if you turn, as you come up Place Cachet, if you turn right about halfway up where the bathrooms are, and go around the corners, you know where Le Gobelet Noir is?
Yeah.
Right. So
it's back in that dark kind of area.
So just
back there.
before that, where the bathrooms are, if you take an immediate left as you walk into that area where Le Gobelet Noir is, there is a portrait in the window.
Yes. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That is interactive.
Yes.
The talking portrait.
That is her.
Yeah.
Love it. I was not there too long, but
so amazing.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very, very cool.
Do we want to go show or ride?
I think we'll go show first.
So, okay. Lacerki or Cananis? What do you guys think?
Well, I had a really good... I loved it until I overheard a conversation. I can't remember where we were, but I overheard someone talking about it, and they said the writing wasn't very good because the show doesn't make sense.
Oh, my God.
Why is... Is it Matilda? Is that what she's called? Madeline? Gwen. Oh, yeah, Gwen. Why is she a squib? It's never explained why she's a squib.
Matilda and Madeline, you just date
some
other film witches. Okay.
Why is she a squib? It's never explained why she's a squib, and it doesn't make sense, because all you've got is this squib going down into Newt's suitcase and has no idea who any of the animals are. So you don't know who those animals are specifically, unless you're a massive fan either. Whereas it would have made more sense if she was just a witch who got into crap all the time and then went down and like, oh, hello, you're a... blah, blah, blah. And I was kind of like, I kind of get where you're coming from.
First of all, what is the word you said? What is that?
Which word?
That she's a squib.
A squib.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Non-magical. She is a witch born without magical powers.
So like a muggle?
No, a squib.
No.
A squib is different. She was born to magical parents but has no magic power.
Filch is a squib, isn't he?
How do we know that?
Because it's referenced in the show. He calls
Ringmaster
Skender calls her a squib.
But also, when she's trying to get into the office, she can't unlock the door, and whoever is right at the beginning unlocks it for her. Aloha Mora's
I think the fact that she's a squib is...
And he says something about being a squib as well.
Yeah, squib would be... because she like wants to get into magic, but she doesn't have any, and... That's
no, but that wasn't the point of the story. The point of the story was that she was trying to like... set things up for him and get ready for the circus.
Yeah.
And something happens and the creature comes out of the suitcase and she's like, well, what the heck is happening?
Yeah.
Like, what is this? And she gets kind of drawn into that world.
Yeah. If she was a dumb magician, then she would know not to do that.
Yeah. She's like, you need to get back in the suitcase, get back in. And then he brings her into that world. And then she realizes these are like amazing creatures that shouldn't be caged.
One
and
may
so
say fantastic beasts.
She becomes she becomes part of the Newt Scamander side of things, where he's like, this is a magical world of beauty, and we need to be treating these creatures with kindness and not evil like the circus master is.
But also, to counter what Lee's been told, if she's a squib, she's come from a wizarding family. She will be very aware of what these animals are called, so she wouldn't need to name them.
She had no idea what they were. She's going, oh, what are you? We don't know either.
Well, most people don't know what they are in the Fantastic Beasts world.
Exactly. So it would have made sense. It would have made sense for she was his. Look, I'm not saying.
Anyway, stop my favourite show.
Really?
Yes.
I prefer Untrainable, but anyway.
I think it's beautiful.
No.
Yes.
Oh.
Sorry, everyone, but I prefer Untrainable.
Well, that's okay. You're entitled to your opinion.
You're not editing.
Oh, that's right.
So
don't get I'm not on it. I love it. Right?
I
like it a
sobbed
lot.
like a baby. I sobbed like what you saw in the video of me walking into the land, up to the world itself, I sobbed 10 times harder during this show.
I want a moon calf.
I remember the specific moment that I started to tear up was when, I think it was when Newt
paid how much,
towards the
found
end.
out how much his tickets cost him.
It goes when the whole show's over, it's getting to the end, and he's just like, there's no strange creatures, only blinkered people. I was like, oh, that's it. The waterworks turned on, full of emotion. It was like, I love animals too, so it's like we're saving animals. That's all, the emotions were just flowing out.
Well, and I love these creatures. I love them so much. And this was why when watching the movies, I immediately was like, this has to be a theme park someday, because these creatures are incredible. And I would love to see them come to like fruition in some way. So when they started just one by one appearing, like each one that came out, just crying harder. And then another one come out, and then I'm crying even harder. Before you know it, I was literally like ugly, like nose running, sobbing. The people are that person.
To be fair, they'd say that without the sobbing too. So
I mean, maybe it could be true.
Look, don't get me wrong. I love the show, right?
Well, Lee, I think you have a problem with suspending your disbelief.
Yeah, you need to just go
in general,
the
because you had, hold on, you had the question in general about the world. Why is it called Ministry of Magic? And how come we're in 1920s France? And then all of a sudden we're, the Flu Network is not only taking you to a different place, but to a different time.
Let me just go back to the Cirque Arcanau.
Okay, go ahead, Tracy.
I was going to say, I thought it was the sweetest show. I loved the fact that we had the circus performers first off, the bubbles with the smoking. That was fantastic. Then all the bubbles coming down.
Nightmare fuel, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
There's a section in that screamed nightmare fuel.
And it was the Kelpie. I absolutely adored the Kelpie at the end, and how they incorporated that into the curtain at the end. I thought that was amazing.
Oh, yeah. That was awesome.
Smart.
Yeah.
I was disappointed the first time Michelle saw it that we had that little downtime when the stage rose up. So when we saw it, Chris, when she goes down into the suitcase, obviously the whole thing rises up to, it stopped and broke down at that point, and we had like a 5-minute delay before they had to reset it all and start it back up again.
We could hear them repressurizing, couldn't we?
Which was a bit of a
but
bummer.
They started it back like seamlessly.
They did, but it's just like I wanted your first viewing of it to be perfect.
Well, yeah.
It didn't just distract at all.
I do love how they are pushing the boundaries of what a stage show can be. It does. They'll get there, right? It's still a fairly new park, and this is the optimistic side of me saying, like, they're going to have hiccups that occur, because one day that we try to do it, yeah, right. the one day that we try to do it, not this last trip, but the trip prior, it broke down every single show before we were able to get on it. So they just kept on canceling, which is a bummer. Like that show, if you were ranking all the rides and shows in that park all in one group, would be towards the roof.
For you.
For me. Yeah, 100%. For a lot of people, not just me. Also, that show reminded me how angry I was that they fumbled the Fantastic Beasts movies towards the end. Like, I hope one day they do something, but I don't have a lot of faith.
I was so impressed with how they did the trick, right? That made you feel like you're walking into this tiny tent, and all of a sudden there's this big circus in it. The way that they hid that into that building was perfect.
And the pre-show is fantastic.
The pre-show is amazing, actually. Really,
when
really
the Demi
good.
Guys comes out, I was like, like it literally took my breath away. I was so excited. It was so good.
Yeah, again,
they knocked it out of the park.
Don't get me wrong. I'm
really
not shitting on it at all. I loved it.
Okay.
I love it.
Leah, I get what you're saying, man. Like, so I had this conversation with Steven, right? And he brought this up, where I've had not arguments, but conversations about rides. Our first road ministry blew me out of the water. And when I said that, people were like, no way, Monsters Unchained, that's the best ride. Okay, cool. A lot of people say that. But you don't have to bash another ride. No. You don't have, like, when you're saying, no, Monsters is better than that. Okay, so it's 10 and then 9.9, right? Like, it doesn't really matter. So you saying that you like Untrainable Dragon better It's just saying that's your preference over the two, but they're both
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I know the person who is behind both of these shows, and I'm not on either of them. I know that, and that person knows how much I appreciate shows, big sit-down stage shows inside of a theme park, and I would go and see both of these every time we go, hands down, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
I have to say this: like the entirety of Epic Universe is not a thing that for me is a miss.
No,
I mean I know I haven't done Fire Drill. That's the only thing. But
no, I completely agree.
It's going to be so difficult to rank this because I've
100%.
thoroughly enjoyed every corner that I've been in.
Yeah, especially when we do the episode, whenever we get to it, how we really break down the different lands and picking a land.
Yeah.
That's going to be so difficult, and I'm very excited to see how, how we've gotten really weird results.
Yes.
When you really break it down and give a score to each of the individual parts.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see what comes out on top.
We could be very
it's going to be very
perturbed.
interesting.
It's going to be a hard episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, before we move on real fast, Lee has a hard time accepting that some things are just better left unsaid. Like some things are just left to the imagination to figure out. But the way what they did to accomplish the change in time,
that doesn't make sense.
It does. What's at the top of the Chronos what's at the top of the portal for that?
The time turner.
So
the time turner, that makes sense for you going into Place Cachée. That then doesn't make sense for you going from Place Cachée to the Ministry of Magic.
What? There's a time. So basically, it's just them implying that time turners are part of this experience. Therefore, you have to just let go of reality because Lee, it's all fake. It's all a made-up world. Like, the whole thing is
Michelle,
made up,
you do know that I'm a theme park nerd and I like to rip things to bits because that's what we do.
But you can't. It's magic. It's magic. The whole world is about magic.
Why do you hate this show so much?
Right.
Sure.
Like, the whole thing is about magic.
We're not talking about... No, Chris, we're not talking about the show now. We're talking about the whole land, the whole world. But Michelle just wants to have a dig at me, I think.
part of the magic that is involved in this land involves time turner, which involves changing, jumping from time periods to time periods. So that is why they put the time turner on that portal.
So where's the other one?
You don't need another one. It's just, you're just supposed to keep it in your mind. Like technically if you're, okay, let's get real. I'm not wearing a time turner. I didn't spin it myself. So therefore I shouldn't be able to be in 1920s. No,
you could, but the one above the portal is the one that's spinning the time back, allowing you to go from present day into 1920s. Yes.
It's implied.
I'm gonna message people and find out. They shouldn't have to imply it. It's a theme park, right? This is what we do. We pull things to bits and make it make sense. And if it doesn't, we're going to go, that doesn't make sense.
I would say with that, your average theme park goer doesn't think that deeply into it and needs to be spoon-fed a lot of things, which is why we complain that we're being spoon-fed things that we think are obvious.
Anyway, can we move on? Because I don't really understand what I've done here, but whatever.
Let's move to the place where you would need a time turner to get to the ride. Ministry of Magic.
You don't need a time turner there. You need the Flu Network.
No, the Flu Network doesn't get time
period. Let's just move on.
And then take the flu. All right. So let's get at it. They took away virtual queues. Thank God.
Mm-hmm. Those lines have been ridiculous.
I think it was 155 minutes today when I was looking.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, walking through those tunnels in the Flu Network, I think those dog-leg tunnels with the two green flashes and all of the dry ice, I can't think of another way they could have done that, and I thought it was brilliant.
That entire... Here, I guess I'll go first after that. That entire queue, that entire experience is, to me, 10 out of 10. The way you get into there, the fact that they made this thing so that you can just go visually see it without being in queue, they built it to size. The amount of work put into this, right? Obviously, is it the most expensive ride in that park? Like $1 billion, something like that?
Wow, probably.
Yeah. Hundreds of thousands of actual tile all over the place. And we're not even at the ride. This is all before the ride. I think they knocked all of that out the park. Yes, the wait is long, but it's a good ride. So that's what's going to happen. Then we get to the ride. What do you guys think about the ride?
Well, let's pull it back. So you've got the Flu Network. You go through that, and then you have a reveal.
Yes.
Which is absolutely jaw-dropping. Because Lee and I walked through there and we just looked around and we didn't speak for a good few minutes because it's exactly from the movies. With all of that green subway tile, all the circular rooms towering above, the statues. That is the grand hallway of the Ministry of Magic. You cannot convince me otherwise. That is stunning to the nth degree.
Having
100%.
walked through the actual one at the studio tour over here, this is even better than that.
Did we?
Yes.
I don't remember. It was a long time ago. Oh, it is, because it's massive. It's just...
Because it's 360. It's,
yeah.
I said to Tracy, we're in the Ministry of Magic.
Yeah. Yeah. So once you've looked around there, then you go into the queue proper.
Which I need to pay a bit more attention to the next time we go, because we were
networking, weren't we? That queue. I mean, okay, it was moving a little slowly, but we were chit-chatting. It's like every corner there's something new to look at.
Mm-hmm.
From the little signs on the doors, the things in the windows, the little net curtains, and the weird vacuum cleaners.
Even.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
The Higgledy animatronic is phenomenal.
Yeah. It's... Yeah.
Higgle Diva.
It's probably the best queue on property. I mean, I don't think that's even up for debate.
Really?
Yeah.
Over Monsters?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a rough one, because I like... well, we're not even doing that right now. Actually, never mind. Just keep on.
There's areas...
It's going to be a whole conversation.
There's areas of this queue, though, for me, where you're literally in switchbacks going around that cleaning machine thing. And that's all you're really looking at, and tile.
Right.
And that took us 20 minutes to get around that bit.
Yeah.
That's all
After
we had
you
to
get
look
out
at.
of like the main hall of the ministry, I think the rest is pretty boring. Other than that one little room where Higgledy is, the rest is like
and it picks up once you get it.
Claustrophobic even.
Yeah, and once you get it to where Higgledy is, that's when it picks up properly for me.
Yeah,
I'm not saying.
I think what puts it up there that high, like kind of what Lee is saying, because I do kind of agree with him. Like it's a very difficult thing if we're doing a comparison, but the scale and grandness of that entire queue, we have to consider that from the moment you step past the first person and then go to the flu and all that stuff. Yeah, it may be better than Monsters. We'd really have to dissect it. Maybe that's an episode in itself.
Oh, we will.
I mean, Lee's a much bigger Harry Potter fan than I am.
Not as much as I used to be.
No, but you are a bigger fan than I am. But yeah, I mean, that queue, I mean, that was a lot.
We were in it for about, I don't know, I don't remember how long we were in it when we did it opening day, but even during the media thing, we were in it for an hour.
Yeah.
Opening day, we were in it for an hour with using a disability pass.
Didn't feel like that.
But there was a lot of us all chit-chatting around. Yeah. Well, it was me and Mandy just comparing notes because I found another one that I've got so much in common with.
Audrey and I used her disability pass the second day, and we walked right on.
Wow.
Okay. And then you get to the ride vehicles. Go on, Chris. Sorry, I'm taking over.
No. So you're talking about the ride now, yeah?
Yeah.
So I'll open up to you guys. What do you guys think about?
I think this is going to be one of the most divisive rides in the park.
I agree.
Why?
Because I have heard people say it is their number one, head and shoulders above everything else. Tracy and I went, it's probably mid-table.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember hearing this from
And I've heard other people go, nope, did not rate that. It's crazy. It's up and down everybody's tables.
It is. And me being a huge Potter fan, and obviously a huge fan of the world itself, the ride itself kind of disappointed me, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, it hyped it up a little too much, I think. The queue, actually, let me take that back. The queue hyped up the ride for me.
Yeah.
Because the queue is way more grandiose than the ride was. I think that if they had made the ride vehicles more personalized, like maybe just like 4 people in a car, kind of like Monsters or Forbidden Journey, where it can have more range of motion. I think it might have, there was no thrill factor to me, for me at all.
No.
Like zero. And that's, to me, it's because of the ride vehicle.
Yeah. Funny you say that, though, because we were talking to Grace yesterday. And because that ride vehicle looks very much like Tower of Terror, she was waiting for a drop. Every time there was like a little bump or a slowdown, she was like, this is it, we're going to drop. And I see that because you've got it in your head what that ride vehicle is, I think that has given people a slightly different perspective.
Yeah, but the ride vehicle has to be that ride vehicle because that's what it is.
I know. I thought...
Well, hold on. The all of the elevators, all of the lifts that you're seeing on the screens in front of you
are only small.
Has like 4 people in them and they're cramped.
Yes, I agree with that. But I guess it's just throughput, isn't it?
That's what it is. If they made those ride vehicles
be able
that
to do
small,
that ride with 4 to 6 person. It can't even sustain as it is right now.
Exactly.
I wasn't 100% sure of the story. There seemed to be a lot of components that were mixed together.
Like what?
Well, we had I forgot what the beast's called, where we have the animatronic. I forgot what she's called.
The Erumpent.
Yeah, the Erumpent.
Yeah, how did that come into play?
And then we've got there's
because
that.
they needed to.
And we've got like basically all of the time turners and stuff
because
like
they went through the time.
I know. But you've got like the spheres and everything. I mean, hats off. I will give it loads more marks because of that very first Death Eater animatronic. Because I swear to God, everybody, the first time they go through that, live actors. Holy crap! It's so fluid.
The first time we came into that, I was like, cool. There's actors in this, and I was like, hang on, it's not.
Those 2 animatronics, both Death Eaters, are some of the best animatronics I have ever seen.
But the problem is, some of the other ones are wonky as hell. That final
projections on
that final
terrible.
show scene in the sort of courtroom. Oh my God, the projection faces are so weird.
Yeah, I think it's great.
I agree.
They got Imelda Staunton back to film and do the sound bites for her parts. I think that's really good, but nobody else.
I think the problem was everyone was expecting this to be Universal's answer to Rise of the Resistance. I haven't ridden Rise of the Resistance. I've watched enough videos to see this like an amalgamation of all these other things. It just, having ridden everything at Universal multiple times, it didn't feel next level as an actual overall ride experience.
I didn't feel immersed. Let's put it that way. Because of the ride vehicle and the lack of thrill factor, and because I'm enclosed in this huge vehicle, there's a big separation between what is happening in front of me and the fact that it's not happening to me.
Yeah,
that's a fair
and
point,
I'm not involved in the story.
I guess I'm going to have to be the one to defend this ride.
I do have a positive point though, Chris.
Yeah.
So when you get tossed up in the air by the Erumpent and then you're coming back down, that got my stomach.
Yeah,
and that's it. That's a non-glasses 3D, and even Spider-Man doesn't do that to me since the overlay.
Again,
and it's just the update. And, so that actually was a really good use of that technology. I love that bit, and the animatronic, the Erumpent animatronic at the end.
We're not saying it's bad, Chris.
No.
I think we expected something a little bit more from it.
No, but I mean, just on some of the points, right? So I feel like we did that ride between all the trips that we went there so far, maybe about 4 or 5 times.
Okay.
I don't remember.
We've done it twice.
And so we did it also prior to them making that slight modification, right? But to that modification's point,
what modification?
The tilt on the cart.
Oh, I didn't know there was one.
Yeah, they had to change it because the reason why, and this is all online, that it kept on breaking down is because people would lift their feet and put their back off of the back of the chair. And because they were so immersed into the ride, it felt like they were falling. And when you do that, it triggers the fail-safe. So a rail comes up in front of your cart to close off so you don't jump out of this ride.
Right.
Okay.
So they had to make a slight modification to the angle of tilt that would not make you try to jump out. So when you get on it now, they tell you at least 4,000 times, keep your feet on the floor.
They do.
Don't put your back forward. It is because that's the reason why it keeps on, quote, breaking down.
I was wondering why they were telling us to do that.
Yeah, they literally will tell you over and over.
Interesting.
Because again, that, to my point, that's how immersive it feels. I have heard the argument, and I will die on this hill.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the argument that it's the Spider-Man vehicle.
Yeah.
I don't care if it was the Storm Force Accelatron vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't feel like it at all to me.
No, it doesn't.
That ride to me, I like Harry Potter. I'm not a Harry Potter head, right? That ride to me is such a fantastic ride. It is it literally sucks me into that immersion so much that I really feel like I'm going on this journey. And I love rides.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of going to a point, Michelle, that you made, right? That doesn't have a thrill factor to you. I don't think a ride has to have a thrill factor in order for it to be good.
No.
I think it just has to be entertaining. And like one of the things I love in rides are like these adventure rides that you go on. Think Back to the Future. Back to the Future, you're going on this whole journey, traveling through things, and it's very fast paced. It's very moving. And that's what this ride kind of does, especially when you get to that time turner room. I love all that. Like it's very sci-fi-ish kind of feeling in there, and you're just kind of going along for the ride. Would it have been cool to be able to replicate like some of the stuff that they actually do in the movies with the elevator? Yeah, but it's physically impossible. Like they would not have been able to do that, right? Yeah.
Well,
they could have incorporated like a Tower of Terror along with all that. Incredible. But your budget's already $1 billion. I don't think they had a little extra to run with that. So to me, and I'll end it here. I wrote it many times, and even the last time I wrote it, I was still very much like immersed into all that, and really felt like, even though I know we're not going down like an elevator chute and all that stuff, it did have me feeling that, like, if I dispel belief, right, and I just look forward and do all that, it really had me sucked in there, along with the fact that they added all those animatronics. Now, a lot of screens in this ride, obviously, but a lot of animatronics, a lot of set pieces, that giant, and you said the word earlier, rhinoceros dude in there. I thought that was super cool. Kind of reminded me of Kong at the end of that ride. We love the ride. It's fantastic.
So to your point, Chris, I agree with everything you said. The thing I think the disconnect for me is the storyline. So the storyline itself is one that lends to some type of thrill. Like, it's not, there are lots of rides out there, and most of the ones at Epic are like, they don't need any thrill. It's a story of some sort. It's just supposed to feel good, or it's supposed to be fun, or whatever. This storyline is supposed to be contentious. It's supposed to be a little bit like, there's supposed to be some type of thrill in the fact that we are chasing after this villain to try to recapture her and make sure that she doesn't get away. So that it's like, the storyline is supposed to have some type of thrill to it in my head. If they had made it a different storyline, completely different storyline, and one that is supposed to be an enjoyable ride, then it would be phenomenal. I think that is where it disconnects for me, is the storyline.
When you say thrill, like, do you mean like coaster type thrill, or like what?
No, not necessarily, but like, I mean, we're flying through the air on these detached elevators, right? And
you didn't get any like of that feeling in your stomach throughout the ride?
Nah.
No,
I got it.
No, maybe just a little, maybe a little bit, but like, that storyline to me is a Tower of Terror storyline. Like, it deserves some kind of big moment.
Yeah.
See,
I agree.
I did get that feeling in my stomach, and again, to the point of they had to modify the ride to make it a little less, just because
really
that's why it was. Yeah, it's an interesting point. And to that point, by the way, we wrote it again, after all those quote changes that happened, and did not feel any difference. Like, it did not feel like a weaker ride. Like, we really, actually, we thought it was more of a, anecdotal, but it even felt more aggressive on the last time we wrote it in a good way. But yeah.
And I wish that they had done something different inside the Ministry of Magic. Like, take us on a journey through the Ministry of Magic. I mean, I love Spaceship Earth at Epcot, and literally we're doing nothing but sitting there, hearing the story of history. Like, everything doesn't have to be exciting, and taking us on a journey to tour the Ministry of Magic with that technology would have been perfectly fine with me. And it would have fit the technology. I don't think the storyline fit the technology.
But you'd rather have just a tour than that?
Yeah, because the ride itself was not exciting.
Yeah, but then you're not going to get the trial, are you?
That's what I'm saying. I didn't need the trial. The trial didn't fit the ride to me.
But then you don't get the ride.
I thought the
without
story was
ride.
good because it goes along the lines with everything that Universal does.
Yeah.
Of like, this is a separate thing that did not happen in the movies.
No, I like the story. I like the ride. I don't like them together. I don't think they match.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that storyline needed at least one big thrill moment, and it didn't ever happen.
I agree with that statement very much.
But I want to say something, and this is not sarcastic at all, just phrasings could sometimes come across. I am really pleased, though, that you've got that experience, Chris.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
because that's testament that we're not all in the same boat here. We're all.
Yeah.
Have you heard the arguments we've already had tonight?
No, I know, but it's good that we've got because we're not. I'm not on it because, like I say, every there's not been anything that I would not ride again.
No,
there's been nothing that I would go.
No,
never doing that.
No, for sure.
Oh no, yeah.
With that one, there is do you know what? If it goes above this many minutes weight, I'm not doing that. But that's also a physicality problem for me.
Yeah.
But the fact that, we've got these different opinions, it's good for the podcast.
100%.
You know.
And it goes back to the point, right, of like, we all like different rides.
Mm-hmm.
And just because, and this is, I guess this goes more onto like the banter that you read about. I'm in a couple epic groups, and some of them are more toxic than the pass holder page was. It's disgusting. Where it's like, you can't not like a ride. You have to on that ride.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So like, I have seen the argument like, no. It's monsters. That Potter ride sucks.
But the two completely different rides.
They're two completely different rides. But to say any of the rides in Epic suck.
Exactly.
No.
Is literally, it's just more of a, you're just trying to, be clever. I don't know. Yeah.
Tracy and I have both said that we need to, because we've only ridden it twice, that we really need to ride it again with a bit of distance in between. I think because the expectation was so high. But again,
and to be honest, we were riding on the high of all that media stuff as well, and no sleep.
It's by no means terrible at all.
No,
it just. I think it was just that expectation.
It missed something for us.
Yeah, I definitely. So what I will say is, first time we rode it, we were like, it was okay, and then the second time around, I went, I enjoyed it more second time round. So maybe it'll be a Gringotts, where the first time we rode Gringotts, I was like, that was terrible, and then the more you ride it, the more I get to like, and I actually prefer Gringotts over Forbidden Journey at this point. Maybe it'll hit that point, but.
Gringotts isn't really getting any better for me.
I love Gringotts now,
but I have an issue with the 3D glasses,
which is one thing I love about Epic Universe, that we have no 3D attractions.
Yes, I love that.
I know we're kind of sorry, Chris, I'm not taking over, but I know we're kind of getting to the end right now. But what I will say, one of the things that I love about Epic Universe, it is such a well-rounded park when it comes to attractions.
There is something for everybody.
Well, when it comes to attractions, when it comes to food, when it comes to interactions, it is such a well-rounded park. The amount of rides you can take bags on that you do not have to put in lockers make navigating that park so much easier.
But how long that's going to last, I don't know.
The team members were all phenomenal. Again, we're coming at it from a point of view of being there on opening day, but from our experience, they were amazing. That park is amazing.
They brought their A game for sure.
100%.
I do have to say, our second time on Ministry, we had to sit in our car for a while because they had an issue. I think they need to train their team members a little bit more in that attraction, because the amount of team members that we ran into and tried to have conversations with who didn't even know what house they were in was astounding.
Well, they're not in Hippogriff.
No Hippogriff.
Sorry, Mark. Love you, dude.
Management.
Oh, bless
like we were sat in our car talking to the two people that are right there in front of you. It was so awkward. Like he didn't even know what a house was. He had no idea what we were even talking
He should not be working in there.
Yes.
See, I had a completely different
straight
experience.
to Azkaban.
The first time that we went, I started rooting for Dolores, and the two team members kind of got a little like shady at me. They're like, really? Good. Maybe we have to look into this a little further with you. I'm like, what's wrong? She's innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
And they were just playing in on it.
Nice.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, we had some good ones too. But I just think that anybody that's working in that land, there's like there's like your basic lore you should know, and what your house is like the most basic.
Although next time I'm asked what my house is, I'm totally saying Azkaban.
And to Lee, to your point that you said earlier about this park, and again, I love the park as a whole. The park as a whole is fantastic.
The park is not a whole; it's very good.
Yeah,
that's your favorite joke, isn't it?
Yeah,
they killed it, and there's still a lot of land to be built upon.
Oh yes.
If they built Azkaban,
that would be
a
amazing.
ride in Azkaban.
Yeah,
there's been rumours of a long time of them doing something with the Shrieking Shack, haven't there? But that's never come to fruition.
Good Lord.
Yeah, but
speaking of fruition, food. We haven't
really got.
I was about to say we are so over time.
Very hour and 50 minutes, and we've still got a bonus episode.
We should talk about on bonus episodes.
Yes, okay.
It should have been 3 episodes.
Probably.
Oh, there's going to be a lot more.
True.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously we're at the end of this point. I know we've kind of been negative on certain things and kind of down on other things, but that's just what we do. It's what theme park nerds do. We look at things and we critique them and whatever else. But at the end of the day, this park it far exceeded my expectations, and my expectations were so high already, and it blew them out of the water.
What was the drinking game phrase?
Game changer.
Game changer.
Oh yeah. Even though there were things that we didn't connect with completely, still phenomenal.
Yes,
everything was phenomenal.
Yeah. Who knew that Ministry of Magic would be the most controversial world that we would talk about, by the way?
I kind of tried.
I knew it would be because of conversations we had in the park, Lee. Yeah. So I knew it was coming.
Jeez, it's probably like that now. Imagine with the expansions.
To be fair with us, it's probably the world we spent the least amount of time in.
And I really do want to take my time and explore it because it's beautiful.
Yep.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Before we wrap up, we do have interviews with art directors Carlos Weiss and Scott Verble from Inside Place Cachet.
Thanks for joining us on the podcast, Carlos. Can you just give us your full title and what your role is here at Epic Universe?
Yeah, I'm Carlos Weiss. I'm art director here with Universal Creative.
So this is our second day here at Epic Universe, and I will say right now you guys have knocked it out of the pun intended park. How much of a passion has this been for you guys creating Epic Universe?
Oh, there's been a labor of love. Especially in my case, I've been working on this project since 2017. But you can imagine, and I got to touch many of the different worlds that we have here at Epic Universe. So it's been a fantastic experience. And you walk around and you see the amount of detail that we put in every corner. You can see the love and passion that every team member has put into this park.
100%. One of the things we've noticed, it's like we've been coming to Universal Orlando for nearly 20 years now, and it seems like you have taken everything that you have learned from the original parks and implemented it here, but so much more.
We're always learning, we're always listening to our guests, which is very important, and we always want to improve. We always want to do better. But we already have 2 other, Wizarding World lands, so making this one is we already learned what people like from the other 2, so it was we know how to get to the next level.
Absolutely. I mean, speaking of the Wizarding World, which is where we are right now, it wouldn't be a Universal Park without a Wizarding World.
That's kind of our thing now.
It is. Yeah, it's what we come to expect.
The third installment of the Wizarding World. Now you're on the Wizarding World, Harry Potter's Ministry of Magic. Now we are in Paris. We're getting to see a completely different side of that we didn't see before, because we're now involved in the Fantastic Beasts movies.
Yes. I do not have a favourite land at this point.
Oh, it's all just jaw-droppingly beautiful, and the attention to detail. I can't get over it. I do not have words, and I can talk.
Yeah, and the beauty is that every different world gives you a completely different experience. You can go from the excitement and the video games through Nintendo, and then you go Dark Universe, and go into a much darker mood. Then come to Paris and enjoy the magical world. Yeah. And then Dragons, which is happy, colorful, and I gotta say, it's one of my favorite worlds.
Really? It's beautiful. It is. We're missing one very important part of Epic Universe this part, and that is probably my favorite place, and that is Celestial Celestial Park. I know when it was announced, it was the tagline was putting the park back in theme park, and you really have. Yeah. It is gorgeous.
Yeah, Celestial Park is that place where you can go relax, go shopping. It's a bit of a transition between worlds, so people can relax a little bit, get the feeling that you left one world going into another, and we're all travelers going to different worlds, and that's very exciting.
Yeah, I love the backstory behind it, and it's just leaning very heavily into that. It's awesome. And we talked walking around Celestial Park yesterday of how it looks so chaotic, but it's not. It's so relaxing. Everything fits, even though it shouldn't, but it really does.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know whether it does, but it feels like the park almost changes just ever so slightly leading up to a portal, so you don't have a jarring experience transitioning through. It's just, it is.
Yeah. Perfect. That was actually our objective. Yeah. That's what we wanted. Again, a place where you can relax. But there's always a little bit of each world standing out into Celestial. If you notice,
it's the coloration as well. That color palette you've used out there, because it complements it here. It just works so well. And in the real world, I get overwhelmed, and I should get completely overwhelmed with all the noise and everything going here. Celestial Park, I just feel like it just goes. And obviously this is audio, you can't. Yeah. Everything goes down a level, and I just breathe.
The word I like to use is a place where you can decompress.
Yes, the word I was looking for.
Yes,
the sun's got to me.
I mean, as an art director, is this the dream palette?
Oh yes, for me, this is a dream come true. Being able to work on all these wonderful worlds.
Because I'm sure one day isn't the same as the next.
Oh, there's always a challenge. But
of course.
But that's a fun part of working here.
Yeah.
And again, we want to represent the world. We want to be as true as possible to what you see in the movies and the games, and then provide that experience to all our guests.
That's awesome. I will ask, because it is interesting. See, how long have you worked for Universal?
I started with Universal back in 2016.
So relatively new.
Relatively, yeah. But most of my time has been working on the Universal's Epic Universe.
Nice.
Well, thank you very much for all that.
Yes.
It's very much appreciated.
We thank you, absolutely. So just before we wrap up, what is your favourite part of Epic Universe?
It kind of varies by day, to be honest. So it depends on the mood I'm in. But if I had to pick one, I think I'm more partial to the dragons. How to Train Your Dragon's Isle of Berk.
Well, I will say I cried my first ride through Hiccups yesterday. It hit me very emotionally. Brilliant.
In a lot of emotion this trip.
Hi, can you give us your name and your role here at Universal Epic Universe?
Yeah, so my name is Scott Verble, and I am the executive producer for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic.
Okay, so as I've just said to Carlos there, it would not be a Universal Orlando Park without the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
Of course.
How much have you enjoyed bringing another aspect of the Potter universe to a Universal Park?
It's incredible. I grew up a huge Harry Potter fan, read all the books as they came out, saw all the movies, and being able to be a part of not only a new Wizarding World of Harry Potter, but a brand new park with Universal Epic Universe has been quite literally a dream come true.
And it's, bringing something new with a Fantastic Beasts franchise, but then leaning back into what people know from Harry Potter.
Right. We really wanted to make sure that we could deliver upon the entire Wizarding World and Fantastic Beasts franchise. So having the land set in 1920s Paris, in Place Cachet, which is the Wizarding shopping and dining district, and having them experience all that Magical Paris has to offer, but still deliver on a core Harry Potter story with Harry Potter and the Battle of the Ministry, the brand new state-of-the-art ride, is just an amazing experience for the guests to experience all facets of their favorite properties.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen both the show and the ride, and they are mind-blowing, absolutely.
Oh, great. I'm so glad you loved it.
It's interesting watching from initially Hogsmeade, then into Diagon Alley, and then into this, which feels like a real place.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. We delivered Magical Paris at full scale. Paris is such an iconic location on its own, and then being able to add that wizarding flourish and detail and discovery at a full-scale Parisian street just makes it so much more immersive, and it feels authentic not only to Paris, but to the Wizarding World and the detail that the guests have come to know and love from our parks.
And that's one of the things about how Epic Universe is set up, of it being in its own portal rather than a usual theme park thing of in a round.
Right.
You walk in and you are immersed in it. Immersion is the word of the day.
Yes, absolutely. We're really proud of the entire park and all the worlds and how authentic and immersive they feel to their own properties.
it is mind blowing. As a huge Harry Potter fan, I do. Mark. So yes, it's the trilogy of. I don't know whether you guys are going to do any more, but the trilogy at this point of Wizarding Worlds here, and it is a testament to you guys in the park, and thank you so much for doing it, because look, it's so kinetic. Like, I know, speaking to Kathrynn, the show director, of how much show elements are a huge part of this, just making it feel like a lived-in real place.
Right, of course.
And you've been very successful with that.
Thank you so much. It's a huge team to bring something like this to life, and the team really put their heart and soul into making this as immersive and innovative as possible. And I think it shows as the guests walk through the land, and every time you come back, you'll discover something new.
And I love that, because I'm all about the little details of the show. I'm always telling people, look up, just pause, listen, and there's years worth of stuff to find here.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to keep coming back and discovering new things.
That makes me so happy. I'm so glad you guys are loving it.
So speaking of that then, do you have a favourite detail in the land?
I've been asked this question several times today, and I've been giving a different answer every time. Because there's so much. I'll think of something but that too. I really love on the importer-exporter shop, which is right next to the entrance of Harry Potter and the Battle of Chemistry, there's this gorgeous Akami light fixture. It's a really ornate sculpture of an Akami holding a lantern. At the bottom of the lantern, there's a tiny little sculpted bug, because in the film, they used a bug to lure the Akami into the teapot.
Nice. Awesome. Scott, it's been so good to talk to you. Thank you so much. And again, thank you for what you've done for this park, because it is amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. The team's really proud of it. I'm so glad you guys are enjoying it.
It's phenomenal.
Oh, thank you so much.
That is going to wrap up the podcast. Don't forget, we want you to rate the Freeze Ray Pops and send in your recordings, as well as sending us your How Bad is Fast and Furious Supercharged jokes. You can send all of that to us at podcast@uuopodcast.com. Until then, see you next week.
That's the end of another Stella episode of UUOP. Use the Flu Network to give you access to us on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok, and Pinterest. Just search UUO Podcast. And check out our blog at uuopodcast.com for everything else. Send your owls to us at podcast@uuopodcast.com. And if you want to join the Producers Club, jump down the warp pipe at uuop.supercast.com. It's alive on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else the podcasts are found. So please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you can. Dragons aren't the only way to get around. Email Michelle at portkeyvacations.com. She can take care of all aspects of your next Universal Orlando vacation. Listen to them, Children of the Night, the children of the UUOP network. Rush of Fear, Halloween Horror Nights podcast, the theme park duo for all your West Coast news and info, the Taste of Universal, Universal Orlando food podcast, and the Portkey Passport, an adult-centric Disney podcast. Make sure to subscribe and come back next week, because in the end, it turns out all we needed was a little more of this.